Hey, everybody. Check out this clip from an all-new episode of the Unseen Paranormal Podcast.
And they've got this couple doing the tour, and they have made this new method to where when they touch, they can speak to the dead.
Oh, you're talking about Cody and Satori. You're talking about Jason Hawes' daughter.
Yeah. So being a spiritualist, I mean, it is so obviously a ripoff of the Fox sisters. Anybody who knows the history of spiritualism, of what we do, can immediately go to that. But your average person who's watching their show has no idea what happened, 130 years ago.
The Unseen Paranormal is available on Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, and anywhere else you get your music or podcast. Warning. Some viewers may find this video disturbing. This video depicts a real-life paranormal investigation inside a prison. No sound effects were used. All audio and video footage is raw and unedited. This footage may cause disgust, gagging, uncontrollable laughter, giggles, anal leakage, bladder spasms, giggle shits, snorting, and you may even pee a little. No disrespect was intended during this incident.
Done. Damn it, I thought I said year.
Getting it done, so that's probably old.
Yeah.
They don't say get or done. Union County 09. Buckwild Washburn boys.
I'm sorry, y'all, that stinks.
Yeah, he just shit on y'all. That's very disrespectful in prison.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
They call him Little Shitty, and I'm Big Shitty. Big and Little Shitty in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. We are live. I wanted to show those two videos, a little teaser from this week's episode of the Unseen Paranormal, and also our little Brushy Mountain blooper video. I had fun making that. But anyway, also, we have our special guest host with us today. We have Mr. Austin Lawrence, so welcome him in here. What's up, Austin?
What's going on, man?
How are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Especially after replaying that clip of Matthew Bird. Oh, my God, dude, I was cracking up.
That's one of the things I want to talk about tonight, too. That's why I wanted to replay that Facebook reel for anybody who hadn't seen it. We were talking about Cody and Satori Hawes. Well, I guess they're not married yet. Cody Desmond and Satori Hawes. But, yeah, we'll get into that later. But anyway, we might have some other people dropping by later to join us in chat. But thanks for coming on with me tonight. I just decided, hell, I ain't done live video forever. Might as well pop in the paranormal news and views.
For sure.
And also, you had some big news today. And yesterday, hell, this week, you've had lots of big news with your new book now.
Yeah, it's been a wild week, actually, year, really. I don't even know what's going on anymore. But yeah, I have a book that is now available for kind of like a pre-order, pre-alpha, whatever you want to call it, that people can go pick up. So it's exciting. I finally get that done, and now it's on to the next thing, and
Yeah. And your newest book, anybody who doesn't know you have a nonfiction paranormal book called Taylor Mill Horror.
Right.
It's amazing that you've had out for a couple of years now. And so your new book is fiction, actually. And,
yes.
I go into the fiction genre. So I know you don't want to tell anybody anything about it, but because you're still looking for a publisher to actually put the book out.
Right. Yeah. It's still in the process. But yeah, it's my first kind of venture into the fiction area. Basically, everyone who said the nonfiction one was scary and disturbing, I kind of just want to raise a middle finger to those people and say, all right, I got you, and try to actually make something a little disturbing. So
for anyone who doesn't know, me and Austin become really good friends over the past year, and we pretty much message each other every day. So.
Right. At all hours.
Yeah, at all hours. Yeah. Because Austin works nights, so he keeps crazy hours. And I'm an insomniac, so I'm up all
It works out well.
It does. How do you like my new mug? I got it in oh shit, there's the camera.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I got it in Pigeon Forge, and it's actually handmade by a Navajo. By a Navajo.
I was about to ask,
lady. Yeah, by a Navajo lady. And yeah, it's really cool. Everybody, when I do live streams, even on other people's shows, everybody always likes my mugs because I have the Bigfoot mug, and I got a couple of other reviews, and people always comment on the mugs. Let me turn this fan off. All right. Anyway, So we're just gonna basically bullshit about the paranormal tonight.
Works for me.
Yeah, I haven't done this in a while, so figured we'd have some fun. Next week on next Thursday, I think it's next Thursday. Let me look at the calendar. I need to put it on my calendar. Yeah, next Thursday, the 21st, December 21st, I'm going to be doing a live stream with the guys from Trevor and Riley from What Goes Bump in the Night. They're always fun. I love going on their show. They're always a lot of fun. So we're going to do a live stream there. And I will put that audio out as a podcast too for anybody that wants to listen to that and can't make it to watch it. But yeah, those guys are fun. So, and they do video all the time. So it's something they're used to.
Yeah.
I always have a blast going on their show. But I don't know if anybody's never checked them out, go check them out. They have an awesome podcast that should be bigger than what it is. I think they hit like 15,000 views this year, and they've been doing it for a few years, and they deserve way more than that. So everybody goes to them and check them out. What Goes Bump in the Night. They're two fun guys, and they're pretty good investigators too. They do things in a good way, so we always like that as well. On the actually Matthew Bird, on the Matthew Bird episode I put out yesterday, I actually got Dr. Chris Sumner from the historic Scott County Jail actually messaged me and said that she listened to the episode and was thanking me for shouting out them and their rugby paranormal tours in the jail. And so,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think the world of them. I think they're awesome investigators. I think they're doing awesome things. So I want to give them another shout out. If you haven't been to historic Scott County Jail out in Huntsville, Tennessee, it is amazing. You need to go out there and investigate. Dr. Chris and Miranda are awesome hosts, and they're doing really good things out there with that place, and they're awesome investigators as well. So if you ever get to go investigate with them, they're amazing. So anybody out in the audience wants to do that. After the first of the year, just quick for me, we're going to be announcing quite a few public ghost hunts where you can come out and investigate with us. Awesome will probably be a part of some of those. We have a bunch of private investigations that we're doing as well. We've got a hotel at the end of January. We're going to a hotel in Linden, Tennessee. And then we're going back to Brushy. About a month ago, I was at Brushy for the first time. So in April, I think you're going to join us for that for sure. April, we're going to Brushy Mountain to do another investigation there. And me and Caleb from Yin and Yang Paranormal will have a Brushy Mountain video coming out. It's not just farting. Look, everybody's so fucking serious all the time in the paranormal.
Exactly.
I wanted to put something out that was like, this is bloopers. This is how real investigations go. People start noise, people fart, people belch. You know, like that's real paranormal investigating. It's not all this shit that you see on YouTube or on TV. That's all polished. You know? So, and that's not the first time it happened. I'll probably have to do a couple more videos. The lesson is don't go to Cracker Barrel on carb load before you go investigate in a prison because it echoes. But
oh my god!
When I was putting that little video together today, I actually think that there's an EVP in there, but I can't prove this. But it would be almost impossible for it was me, my cousin Brian, and Caleb. And Caleb, my cousin Brian, I say something, my cousin Brian says something, and then Caleb clears his throat, and then right in between their voices, you hear something go, whoo, like they're reacting to the fart, like, you know. And I don't think it was one of us, so
that's hysterical.
But I can't prove it. I can't prove it's an EVP. So go back and watch that video and listen for that little whoo. It sounded.
Oh my god, that'd be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, because I was in a cell when I did it, so I just imagined a ghost going, ooh.
Right.
And my cousin Brian, he's always the fucking ham with the big shitty, little shitty. And then what I couldn't fit in the video in 1 minute was Caleb says about 30 seconds after that, well, I guess I'm little too.
Oh, shit.
You know, there's always drama going on in the paranormal. And like I said, you know, people are always so serious about shit. So put some shit out there. And, you know, the warning I come up with too. And I was like, people think it's serious, raw and edited footage, you know. But anyway,
definitely raw.
Yeah, just having some fun with the paranormal. But also the other thing that you've had in the past year was Phantom Farm documentary come out, which is what you have behind you on your background there. Nobody's seen that. You can go catch that on. I think it's on YouTube now, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it's
somewhere out there.
But it's a documentary that y'all did at the Randolph County Infirmary, and they can go see you in that as well. But Yeah, we had a thank you for coming to the expo. We had a good
Yeah, that was a great time. That was a
yeah,
really good time.
and everybody else. Thank you to our vendors and everybody else that came out. We had a good time. We raised $3,000, so we gave $1,500 to Trousdale Place and $1,500 to Animal Rescue Corps. So we're supposed to be having a meeting in January about next year's, so 2024. So we'll
Nice.
see if that's going to happen or not. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence, but I got a lot of other stuff going on. So
You can fit it in. You'll be all right.
oh, it's so much fucking planning. Oh my
I know.
God.
I know.
It is so much going on. And we don't get paid anything. So,
Right.
It was like 8 months of my life of insanity. And I don't know. I've got lots of other things going on with investigations, and hopefully I'll have my book out and all that shit. So,
yeah,
anyway,
seriously.
Yeah, I got some TV things coming out too next year sometime. So, I don't know. We'll see. We're going to talk about it and see if we want to do it again. But anyway, one of the hot topics, like we said at the top of the show, is the Satori Hawes and Cody Desmond's tapping method thing. The debunkers on YouTube are all over it, which I think is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I know you wrote a post. And I think you even messaged Satori or one of them about it.
Yeah. I tagged him in it, and Satori blocked me.
So for anybody watching that doesn't know, Satori Hawes is Jason Hawes' daughter, Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters. And she's engaged to this dude named Cody Desmond's, and they call themselves a paranormal couple. And they have the Haunted Museum. And I got to meet them and talk to them at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash back in July. We'll get to that later. But so they're in this controversy now in the paranormal world that probably, like, we get caught up in all this shit and think, oh, well, this is just news to everybody. It's not. Nobody ever gives a shit. Everybody in the world. So a video came out with Sam and Colby, the popular YouTubers that have millions of subscribers. And they're full of shit as a Christmas turkey. But I don't care for them either. They went on Joe Rogan and basically said, they only do the paranormal so they don't go to jail. So, yeah, because they can rip places out. They don't give a shit about paranormal investigating. They know nothing about it. They've never learned anything about it. They've never asked anybody to teach them how to investigate.
Yep.
So that's my rant about them. But with Cody and Satori, we're on there because they work for the Conjuring House. And Sam and Colby did a video there. And Satori and Cody have this method that they say is their method they developed, that whenever they hold hands or hold each other's arms, the spirits will tap. And Satori will go through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, and they're supposed to tap when she hits the letter, and they supposedly spell out names and shit like that. So, if you know your paranormal history, and anybody that doesn't, go look up the Fox sisters.
Yep.
Because this is exactly what they did, and they came out 30 years later and said they faked all of it by popping their joints, cracking their toes to make different sounds, and all of that. And there's one really good debunker that I've seen, and if you haven't seen him, also you get to watch his videos. But Mythos Paranormal, this dude has a whole compilation of video shots of Cody's feet, and you can see his muscles moving when he pops his ankle. He pops the tendon in his ankle to make the tapping noises. They have come out and said that we're not faking this. This is something we discovered we could do. Blah blah blah. And they've even addressed the Fox Sisters thing, and they believe that Fox Sisters are real and true, even though the Fox Sisters themselves said they faked it. So this has been a big controversy. They've been fighting with the debunkers on YouTube. So.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on them two?
I mean, here's my thing. There's a lot of fake people out there, obviously, especially in the paranormal world. Whether it be your Ghost Adventures or your Sam and Colby's, that stuff doesn't bother me as much because I think most people realize it's fake. It is what it is. I don't really give two shits about those groups. But my thing is like, even though I'm not a Sam and Colby fan, you can tell when they had that quote unquote reading, they took that as factual and it affected them at that time. And I think at some point we have to have some sort of ethics within the paranormal field. Like, you don't fake dead loved ones, to try to make money. And they claim, oh, we're not trying to make. Yeah, you are trying to make money. That's 100% what you're doing, and you are making money. And to me, it's not that they're faking stuff that bothers me. It's the question of ethics, and I just think that's just it's horrible in my opinion. Yeah,
and even if you're not making money directly off of that, it still ups your visibility in the paranormal community. that people are believing that what you're doing is real. But you're also, even if you're not making any money off of it, you are still playing off of fucking people's grief. And that is
Right,
wrong.
exactly.
That's wrong when you have these fucking psychics out there that do it, supposed psychics that make money off of charging people and shit. And I believe there are some real ones out there, but there are a lot of fakes. And if you, me and you are, the general public is probably not in as many paranormal groups and shit as we are, like on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, and see all the paranormal shit we do. But there are so many fucking self-proclaimed psychic mediums out there in the paranormal world doing the fucking booths at conventions and shit, and doing the circuit and making money off of people, bullshitting them, just like Cody and Satori are. They're just doing it in a different way. It's still the same spiritualist bullshit that happened in the Victorian era with, you know, the fucking ectoplasm and tables lifting and fucking horns floating in the air and all that stupid bullshit in the dark, and ghost photography, which, you know, is fake, and and all that stuff. And if you look back at that history, they're doing the same thing, just in a modern way.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because there was a woman in one of those groups. I forget which one it was, but she was like, "Hey, I'm giving out free psychic readings to the group today." So I was like, "I'm interested." So she gives me this reading that was 1,000,000% off. Like, it couldn't have been any more wrong.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "So here's the link for my donation." She's like, "Most people are kind of obligated to donate at least $100. And I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
I just didn't say anything. So then she kept messaging me. It's like, "Are you serious right now?" Like, I don't know. Like, her like whole description, everything was just so far off. But it was like very kind of general thing. She's like, "Oh, you're dealing with a lot of anxiety and stress, and it's turning you into this terrible person." I'm like, "I don't think so. No." I think you're off base on that one.
Right.
But yeah, there's just so many people who, and I even that one I sent you the post a couple of times. There's that what is it, Ghost Skier or something like that, who keeps posting their shitty like Ovilus device, and their post is always like, "Hey, did your mom die? Well, talk to her again with this." And I'm like, "Come on now, like, come on." It's just, it's terrible.
It is, and it's with Cody and Satori, like Sam and Colby in the video. If you go watch the video, they're entertaining. Don't get me wrong, and the reason that the millions of subscribers is because of the way they look. They look like they look like little Twinkie boys, and they're good looking too. and so the main reason a lot of these, and I guarantee you, it's 80% of their audience is female, and that's because they want to fuck them. That's all. They're pretty and they want to fuck them. That's all it is. So, but Cody and Satori, on that video, they supposedly at the end debunked them at the end of the first video they put out about Cody and Satori doing their tapping thing. Well, they went and bought them slippers from Walmart and had them do it outside. Well, why wouldn't you just say, "Hey, take your fucking shoes and socks off to make sure you're not cracking your fucking toes"? And people have asked them to do that, and they've refused. They said, "Well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that way." Well, then if you're not faking it, then what do you have to fucking lose? If this is something real that you claim that you can do, why wouldn't you take your shoes and socks off? Ain't nobody want to see your crusty fucking toes anyway. But why wouldn't you take your shoes and socks off and show people that you're not fucking cracking your toes, you're not popping your ankle, you know, nothing like that. If it's really, if you can really do this, how's that going to mess up the spirits knocking and tapping just because you're barefoot? You know?
Yeah. And I saw a video the other day, and I didn't notice it when I first watched that video, but if you go back and watch it, when they're outside in the slippers, she's talking about how she like can't hear or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you can see her place her foot against his.
Yeah.
So that she can obviously feel the vibrations, and then all of a sudden she can communicate again. And it's like, come on now. But the problem is that they're believers. You can't, you can't tell them otherwise. You can give them the most damning evidence, and they're like, "No, you're just a hater." Like, no, well, yeah, I am. Not gonna lie, I am a hater because what they're doing is terrible.
But also, and also when I met them, and this is just my take on them. Maybe I'm reading into the situation, but I read people very well. And when I met them, I went in the first time I met them because I was at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash all weekend. They were too. We crossed paths many times. They're very nice. Don't get me wrong. Very sweet guy and gal. Very nice. But I went into, they had a little room off to the side of the convention center where they had their haunted museum set up. And I was in there talking to Cody about some of the stuff, and Satori was kind of in and out making comments, and she was busy doing something else. And so I was asking him about some of the things, and he was telling me, he's like, you know, we really don't know if these things are haunted. People send them to us, but they send letters about what happened. I'm like, okay, you know. And I was asking about some of the stuff that they do have that they know is haunted, because they used to do live streams, and they would claim that, I think there was a doll and a couple other things that they had of their own that stuff happened. And so we were chatting, and I mentioned the tapping thing because, and this is back in July, so this is before Sam and Colby video, and I had seen it on Ghost Hunters. They were a guest on Ghost Hunters, and they did this thing where they did the tapping thing, and they found a pen, like a fountain pen that had somebody's name inscribed on it. The ghost, by tapping, told them it was under the baseboard. Well, they were able to fish it out, and it had this person's name on it. So I'm like, I'm racking my brain because I'm a skeptical believer, and I'm going to try to debunk anything I can. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to rack my brain of how they do that. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing that came to mind to me was the Fox sisters, but I'd never seen anything to try to debunk them with that. Right. Anybody who was trying to debunk them.
Right.
And so, but when I asked him about it, him and her about it, they didn't want to talk about it. They shied away from it. They did not want to talk to me about it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think they didn't know who I was. You know, I'm just somebody coming in there. I'm assuming they probably assumed I was an investigator. You know,
right?
And but I mentioned seeing them do it on Ghost Hunters. Like, yeah, that was pretty cool. You know, that was a pretty cool moment. And they completely changed the subject. They did not want to talk about it. But I do know that they went into a room and did it for some of the people that were there. And those people come out all amazed and shit. I'm like, oh god, they bought the Kool-Aid. They drank the fucking Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Yeah, and now these same people, I'm not going to call them out on here, but these same people are on Facebook defending them. They made a whole video defending them, a whole live stream defending Cody and Satori. And then you have, of course, Jason Hawes has made a video defending them as well.
Yep.
But that's her dad. So even if they're doing wrong, he's going to defend his daughter in public. He just is. But he lost a lot of credibility with me with that. Ghost Hunters lost a lot of credibility with me when Grant Wilson was caught faking shit with the jacket.
True. Yeah.
If anybody's ever seen that video, you can obviously tell his fucking hand is in his pocket pulling a string to make his jacket go up in the back. And shortly after, that's when he left the show for personal reasons. You know, so,
right.
So I kind of lost credibility, and this also I lost a little bit of respect in with some people as investigators for defending them. Yeah, you know, that's the one thing that needs to fucking change in the paranormal. Like, we need to be able to question people without
exactly
it being like you said, where you can't change somebody's mind. They're just not going to listen to you, and this confirmation bias bullshit of, you know, okay, your opinion's different than mine, but I'm not even going to listen to why, you know, what your educated opinion is, you know, especially not saying like some old wise man that knows everything, but I've been doing this for over 20 fucking years. And I did it long before the TV shows. I was investigating and researching the paranormal stuff. And it's ridiculous. And it's the newer people that are the worst. The people that's only been doing it for 1 or 2 years, and they're the ones that are copying TV. They're the ones that will buck back against you the worst. Mm-hmm. And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a lot of the paranormal investigators, you can tell, because it's people like you and I who will put something out there. Never will we say, this is evidence, this is proof, this is what this is. Like, I want you to come at me and say, could it be this? Or I think this could be this, because that's how you further afield by learning. Like, I'm sure there's been things that I've put out there in the past that weren't evidence, and then I learned, oh, okay, that's what that is. Now I know to look for it in the future, and, you know, whatever. But, you know, like you said, it's this confirmation bias, and the problem is that people are now, I mean, not to blame social media, but now with social media, you can join a community that will just regurgitate the same bullshit that you want to hear.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And that's basically what's happening is that confirmation bias. Everyone wants to, number one, have their moment of fame and moment of attention. So they'll post a grainy picture of some dust and then get 1,000 likes, you know?
Right.
And they want to be told what they want to hear. and then in return they'll do it for the next person, and so on and so on. So I don't know. It's just a unfortunate thing, but it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, but if you're going to be an investigator, you're going to put any kind of evidence out there. You need to be willing to throw everything out.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm trying to make I'm like dim in here, and I realized the light was so dim. But you have to be even when you think you've caught a shadow bastard, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you caught a full body apparition, if there's something to explain it that it was a reflection or whatever, you need to be willing to do that and just throw it out. It might be the best piece of evidence you ever caught. But if there's an explanation for it, then it's not paranormal. If you can prove it otherwise, because we can't prove that it's paranormal. So you have to go the other way with it and try to disprove it. And that's what I think makes people credible, is the people that are willing to do that, to swallow their fucking pride and their fucking ego and say, okay, well, that's amazing. And I have this amazing experience, but it can be explained.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily take away from the experience. You still have an amazing experience. But just because you thought it was one thing and it's not, I think people just need to. Ego is the worst thing.
Yeah, 100%
in the paranormal, and that the biggest probably my biggest gripe with the paranormal community is the para-unity shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that are always yelling para-unity, they're narcissists and they want everybody's attention on them as the leader of para-unity. Well, the whole thing about para-unity is we all unite and there's not a leader. Like, that's the whole thing. And all the para-unity people come and go. I've seen so many of them over the years on social media who, I'm the poster child for para-unity. Well, you're the worst one because you're not participating in what you preach,
Right.
You're not. It's everybody look at me and I want all the likes and I want to have my minions.
Yep.
But when it comes to actual para-unity, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like you said, it's just a bunch of egos.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the stuff that gets seen the most. Is that kind of crap that just gets pushed out there.
Right.
It's not the people like us or people like there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's way too bright. I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I should have done this before. I think that's better. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
I look like I've got bronzer on and been in the tanning bed or something. I'm dark skinned, but I'm not like bronzy.
Right.
Anyway, I'll fix it next time. Whatever. But with like Cody and Satori, it's all about money. This is how they make their money. So they don't have a choice. They back themselves into a corner. They don't have a choice but to defend.
Right.
And the same with Jason Hawes. He has to save face. He has to defend. And then like there are a couple of other people. I'm trying not to call anybody out. I could say so many names right now of people that I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're really defending this bullshit? Like, I really thought you were serious paranormal people. And you're just going to go out here and defend this bullshit that's so easily debunkable. It's ridiculous because obviously, like Matthew Bird said, when I was talking to him on the show, it's obviously a throwback to the fucking Fox sisters.
Right.
Back in the fucking 1800s.
Right.
And these charlatans and shit and these, like carnival psychics and shit.
Yes.
The spiritualist movement.
Yep.
So anyway, moving on from those assholes. Speaking of debunking, I've been getting big into the debunking community on YouTube of like watching videos and things.
Same.
I'm so happy that their channels are getting bigger and bigger because there's so many of these YouTube assholes that need to be debunked.
Yeah.
One of them is Omar Gosh. That guy needs to fuck right on off. And I so hope that people understand that is entertainment just like paranormal TV.
Right. You
don't turn around. In this one video, he was filming this. He had on camera. He shows his dining room with chairs up against the table. He turns around and faces the other way, and then when he turns back around, they're stacked on top of the table. Are you fucking kidding me? And people really believe that's paranormal activity?
Oh,
that's
man.
real?
Right.
Okay, if it happened on camera right in front of you, but you conveniently turn around and they stack up behind you,
Right.
yeah, shit like that. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's just stuff is getting more and more ridiculous. Like especially that freaking Netflix series, 28 Days Haunted.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
when they like show the video of like all the doors in the kitchen or whatever opening up. It was so obviously fake. And I was like, this is YouTube grade stuff. Like this is like top 10 scariest moments caught on tape. Don't watch at 3 a.m. Like that's what this is. But we're putting this on networks now. Like, come on now.
Yeah, and actually, the fact that one of the like Netflix even bought that show.
Yeah,
and I actually feel bad for the couple people that were on there because I think they're legit, but I think that they were kind of, because of money and the contract they signed, they're kind of goaded into doing what they were doing. Shane Pittman can suck my dick. I hate Shane Pittman.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I met him in person for the first time at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, and I can't stand him either.
Oh, I fucking hate that guy.
I promise y'all we will get some ghost stories and our experiences here soon. We just got to get this rant out because I haven't had a chance to in a while, and this is my own platform. So,
right. It's Matthew Bird had an effect on us,
Yeah, YouTube is gonna ban me or something for saying Shane Pittman can suck my dick, but I hope it makes it back to him. Let him start a fucking Twitter war or something. But I'm hoping at some point in time, all the shit that I talk about, old douche Baggins, maybe it gets back to him. Maybe he's.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Well, yeah, it would. I'll welcome a fight from any of them because it just ups my visibility.
Yeah,
that's all that would do.
I know I'm blogged by Shane Pittman on like every single platform by now.
Well, I kind of had a little respect for him. There was one episode of Holzer Files that he was in like this grease pit or something, like down on the floor, and it was all concrete. It was concrete on the floor and concrete up around him. There's like a grate over him, so it was like some kind of grease pit. And all he could do was set up in it, and he was crawling through it. And I liked the Holzer Files until this moment. You can see obviously what they use masking and editing is a whole fucking arm and hand come out of the floor and try to grab him. And I'm like, I'm done with this show. That's the fakest shit I've ever seen on TV. You could obviously see that it was done in editing.
Yeah, right.
As a fucking transparent mask over the video of this hand coming up out of the floor.
Right. Oh, that's freaking hilarious.
Yeah. So that's when I was done with him, and then also what is that show? What is the internet show? The guy who's famous, The Searchers or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
They're car shit. And then also, he didn't do himself any favors with me when I met him at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash because he's walking around like his shit didn't stink. And he was the man of the hour. And everybody was, blowing smoke up his ass too. And that's, God, I hate the paracelebrity shit like that. Like those paracelebrities. Yep. And then you have the ones that go to conventions and they've only done like one thing. They've been on like one episode of Ghost Hunters or something. And they're selling $25 autographed pictures of themselves.
Hey, yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? This shit is really going on in the paranormal field, people.
Oh, yeah.
It's really going on in the paranormal field. Yeah. I could tell you so much more. I'm trying not to. Not that anybody can blacklist me, but
right.
I do want to have a presence in the paranormal world. I'm not trying to get all the secrets away. Just know that good 75% of them are full of shit as a Christmas turkey.
Oh my god!
Just know that
it's terrible.
I can't even name one YouTube channel that I actually respect. Like of the big YouTubers, I'm not talking about smaller ones because there are some smaller ones, people that I know that are fucking great, that are great at what they're doing. They're putting out real shit. Chasing Paranormal or Brady and his wife are fucking great. They've got a show coming out through a paranormal network, and what they do is fucking awesome. It's straightforward. It's not faking anything. They're out to do the real deal. Love them too. They're doing awesome things. Just to give them a shout out. If you haven't, check out Chasing Paranormal on YouTube. Their videos are a little rough because they're learning as they go, but bless them for just going after it and just doing it, And but the videos are still entertaining. They still capture evidence, but it's not this crazy chairs stacking themselves and shit.
Right.
You'll get like EVPs here and there and like, shadows and things like that we normally catch when we investigate. Not any of this crazy shit that's just it. I liken this too, since I was an EMT for so long. I worked in emergency medicine. There's shows like 911 and like ER.
Yeah.
If that's the real world of working as a first responder, none of us would do it.
Right.
Because you'd have PTSD within a week.
Right.
It took me 15 years to get PTSD and quit, right? But that show 911, the craziest shit is happening every day that these people are on shift. And they're just like, oh, this is just normal. The world's falling apart, planes falling out of the sky every day, and fucking people, If the paranormal world was, every investigation was like, oh my gosh, Sam and Colby, and all this crazy evidence that they claim to capture, then we would already prove the paranormal was real.
Yeah, it wouldn't be paranormal anymore. Just be normal.
It would be science. Yeah, it would just be normal. It would just be fucking science. Yeah. We'd all be scientists. If you can catch that shit on video, and I'm not saying it's all fake. I've seen some videos that I'm like, that crazy shit happens. That I'm like, I don't know, what are these people have nothing to gain? Why would they, some of the stuff's caught on like security cameras and, just cameras people have in their house or, whatever. But there's so much bullshit out there. It's hard to tell if any of it's real or not.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah. I was seeing a video. I forget what I was watching the other day, but it took me back because still to this day, even if I like rewatch it knowing that it's fake, there for a while there was this like huge like influx of these quote unquote fake videos of like everything. I mean, they were fake, but of quote unquote evidence coming out of like Mexico and places like that. And some of that footage was like actually wildly terrifying when they had like these witches or like all this like poltergeist activity because it was shot on such low quality cameras and everything. They really started this whole trend if you think about it. Like they were the OGs at this. And
but let me ask you a question about those. Because and I'm not being racist, I don't mean this in any way, but why is it always the Asian videos and the Spanish videos? There's always the grudge bitch or the ring bitch pops up in them. It's always the bitch with the long black hair and a white face and a white gown.
Yeah.
Why is it always in those videos that are either Spanish speaking or one of the Asian speaking countries? Am I wrong? There's so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we never catch that.
It's true.
The ring bitch never shows up in any of our videos.
Right.
I mean, is that just a South American Asian phenomenon? Like that's
I don't know.
The ring bitch and the grudge bitch just show up in all their videos, and I've seen some of them where I think, okay, this may be like legitimate activity, like knocking and voices and things, and then there you go at the fucking end of 5-minute video. There's the fucking grudge bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all fake. I can't take you seriously.
I can't either.
Like, are you at least use something else? Like, if you're going to do something like that with
exactly
a ghost, at least use some kind of other imagery. Like, come up with your own like scary face or character or something. Not the same long black-haired girl with a white face and a white dress with black eyes.
There was a location, I forget where it was, but a couple years back, they shared this photo of quote unquote a ghost that they captured, and they posted it, and everyone's freaking out about it, and they're like trying to get people to come and stay, and it was of the grudge chick, and I was like, this is obviously fake. So I ended up like doing a bunch of reverse image searches and everything, and I found the app that they used that had the same grudge chick in the same position, everything.
Yeah. And
I was like, I posted a screenshot. I was like, you use this. Like, no. They must have stole that from us. This is the real ghost. I'm like, come on now. Like, no, they didn't steal it from you. Put it in the app. Like, clearly you used it.
Right. Mind the Monsters. YouTube is for clicks, views, and Google ad revenue. Real searchers and creators. It takes years to grow. People want the wow factor. I agree. And that's why I just want, my biggest thing, I'm not trying to cancel any of the YouTubers. I just want people to know that it's entertainment like TV is. And I'm not saying they don't ever catch anything real, because they do go to real places that are purported haunted. And they may catch some things that are real. I have a problem with all the shit that they fake. And if they put on the front of it, okay, this is entertainment purposes only, we're not real investigators. You know what I'm saying? We're providing, okay, just be honest. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it for entertainment, just do it for entertainment. That's fine. But stop trying to fool people into thinking that you caught real paranormal evidence when you didn't. When it's so easy to debunk, or it's so easy to show that you faked it, with jump cuts and things like that. And the camera always conveniently, this is one they use all the time. The camera always conveniently pans away and then pans back and something's happened or there's somebody standing there. It's always convenient. It's a convenient, that's why I like security camera footage and things like that in people's houses. Yeah. For one, it's harder to fake. And when you're watching the video raw and unedited, you can see a jump cut in those because there's nowhere to put one without you noticing. And so, I've just seen somebody with jump cuts, and with that's the one thing most of them have in common when they catch the crazy, unbelievable evidence is the camera always conveniently turns away. Right. Or something happens and they just say it happened on camera. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, if you can't show it, then why are you even talking about it? I can sit here and tell you all kinds of shit that happened to me that's not on camera. Right. Or a voice recorder, voices I've heard, and things like that. But you can believe me or not, But yeah, I agree with you, Mountain Monsters. Like, yeah, it is, and it is for revenue. But I just wish they would be honest and say this is for entertainment purposes, just like TV shows are. And I'm not saying all the TV shows are fake. I'm not. I think there's some real deal people out there. Katrina Weidman is one of them that I think is the real deal. I don't think that she would put up with faking shit. I don't think she'd have anything to do with a TV show that does it. I don't think Nick Groff is a faker. I think that's why he left Ghost Adventures. Yeah. I have respect for some of these people. And I've talked to Katrina Weidman on the show, and me and her email back and forth sometimes, and she seems like a great chick. And what she's doing now on YouTube is great. Her and Heather Taddy have an awesome show. And guess what? All the other fake shows you see on YouTube, they do nothing like that on her show. You don't have the convenient camera pans, And sometimes they don't catch anything. Sometimes they do, just like real investigating.
Yeah, I think there's going to be start to be a shift back to people wanting to see the real stuff, like you guys talked about on the podcast. Yeah. So I think that's going to help out a lot and kind of weed out, certain people. But I don't know. I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it because, like I said, people are just they want to believe what they want to believe, and right. If they want to fuck some guy, they're going to support him no matter what. Yeah. Well, that's why we still have Zach Baggins.
Right, and I just sound like the grumpy old man, like, get off my lawn.
Right, right.
That's what I sound like to normal people. But it's also different. It's also different when you do the paranormal every day, like you're immersed in it, like we are. It's also different because you see this bullshit every day, and you see the drama. And now there's a big, which this needs to happen anyway. But some of the other drama going on within the paranormal world is they're calling out some sexual assault offenders. Oh. And trying to get them canceled. And they should. They should. Call them out.
Yeah.
Call them out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, but they've been getting blowback about that. No, we don't need predators in our fucking community.
Right.
We don't need those type of people. Nobody wants to deal with those type of people that are creepy and, stalking women and touching them inappropriately and things like that. The Seth kid from YouTube is actually, there's been about 5 women that have come out and said that he sexually assaulted them.
Damn.
So, yeah. So, I forget his last name, but he's investigated with Santa Colby and a bunch of the YouTube people.
Sounds about right. Sounds like he fit in with them.
Oh, he looks like a little fuckwit anyway. He does. He looks like a little fuckwad. But, you just want to flick him in the head. Like, anyway, I don't wish violence on anybody. I'm just joking. But yeah, so that's what's going on in the paranormal world as far as drama. We can talk about paranormal drama all night. They're always fighting, and you have these cliques like fucking high school. And that was the one thing about the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that I hated was it was like high school all over again, and there's a bunch of cliques, and I wasn't in any of them.
Right.
I mean, I had friends there that I hung out with. Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't just like some kid standing over the corner by myself. Like, I had friends up there that I hung out with, and my husband went with me. But it was all these people that go every year, and they separate into little cliques after the day is over for the convention, and hang out and party and drink with each other. And if you're not part of their clique, you don't hang out with them. They don't even talk to you.
Right.
It's fucking ridiculous. Like, those conventions, they're made for networking and meeting new people, and that's what I went for.
Exactly.
you have all these fucking cliques of like, yeah, they wanted nothing to do with anybody outside of their own clique. They don't even intermingle. They're standing beside each other on this back fucking patio, and they have their own little groups, and they stay in their own little groups.
Mm-hmm.
And like, wow, that's fucking ridiculous. It was kind of a letdown. It really was, because I was looking forward to going to Gettysburg Battlefield Bash for so many years. It's been going on for what, 5 or 6 years, and I finally got the opportunity, and it was kind of disappointing. So because before then I was like, it'd be cool to have a booth there one year, or maybe be a speaker.
Right.
No, I'll probably never go back. So yeah, it's just disappointing. And I'm not go if you want. I'm not telling anybody what to do. That's just my opinion. That was my experience there. I had a great experience. Don't get me wrong. I had fun the whole weekend. We had a blast. Got to hang out with my buddy Cisco, who she's amazing. Go check out her show on YouTube. Journey Through the Gates is awesome. But I got to hang out with her and quite a few other people. Brian Bowden and Greg from Fort Mifflin up in Pennsylvania, up in Philadelphia. Got to hang out with some really cool people, meet some really cool people. But for the most part, it was weird, cliquey, high schooly bullshit, and there was a bunch of drama. People trying to get in a fist fight with each other, and just like, what the fuck?
Got that bro culture. Yeah,
that's part of it too. Well, there was some cattiness going on too between two of the psychics that were there. They were trying to claw each other's eyes out at one point in time. We're about getting in a fight.
I just instantly think of that episode of South Park where the like the psychics, they start having the psychic battle, and they're all just sitting there like, I paid to watch that.
A lot of that drama I didn't see firsthand. I saw the shit about it afterwards, and I'm like, why are y'all? Don't start no shit and won't be no shit. Is my motto of life. Like, I'm not gonna start any drama with you. Don't start any drama with me. I'm giving you my opinion. I'm talking shit about people in here. They got a problem with me. You can take it up with me. We're not going to fist fight about it. I'm not going to argue and yell with you.
Right.
It's no point. Just stop being an asshole and stop doing bullshit in the paranormal. That's all.
Exactly.
You only get mad because people call you out about it.
Yeah, 100%. You wouldn't get offended if there wasn't some truth there.
Right. So anyway, went to Brushy Mountain about a month ago with getting into paranormal. My buddy Caleb, our buddy Caleb, and my cousin Brian. And Brian, I actually got him into investigating a few years ago. He went to the first paranormal investigation with me at Lode's house in Franklin. Nice. And psychics mind control battle by the monster said. But he saw full body apparition, the first fucking investigation he ever did.
I hate him already. Never met him. I hate him.
How lucky are you? And so anyway, he's kind of got the bug, but so he loves to go. But we went to Brushy Mountain, and it's the first time I've ever been there. Man, what a place! That place is massive. It is pretty impressive. Ex-husband did time at Brushy Mountain. He said it was creepy as fuck. It is kind of creepy, and when we were there, the energy was kind of mellow. Like some locations you walk into, it just kind of kicks you in the face. You just feel it something different, like something watching you. Most of the place wasn't like that. The only place that I really felt, and I even say this on video, whenever we put our video out, when we walked into the hole area in the basement, as soon as I crossed that threshold, it was like a kick in the chest of energy. It was just real thick and heavy. But we didn't have a lot of crazy stuff happen. Not to us there. Since I've gone over the video and the audio, we got a lot of audio stuff that is weird that can't explain. And if you go check out TikTok or on Facebook, I put up the videos of me talking about the pictures, the weird pictures. And we got one other weird picture that I'll probably throw a TikTok up on. But just those weird blurry photos. That can't explain. You've seen them because you're a photographer. Yeah. I sent them to you. And I sent them to my friend Tia, who's been a photographer for 30 years too. And she couldn't explain them either. And she would be the last person to say anything's paranormal. But she's like, I have no idea. So those are pretty interesting. Are they ghosts? I don't know. I won't say that. Is it paranormal because something outside the norm? I think so. And that's why I kind of challenge people, like you were saying earlier, like we challenge people, hey, tell me what you think. Because you might be able to explain this.
Exactly.
There might be a photographer out there who's had this experience with the camera malfunctioning or something. But that was interesting. But we heard some stuff with our own ears. There was one time where I thought I heard my name, and we actually caught that on video. You can actually hear the voice
Oh,
and
wow.
it doesn't, I don't think it sounds like it says my name. I don't know what it says, but you can hear the voice.
Right.
I turned around to Caleb. I'm like, did you say my name? He's behind me, and we were coming down this hall, and we turned to go in to this one area where cells were in D block. And I turned around and was like, you say my name? And he was like, no, I just cleared my throat. I'm like, no, that wasn't it. Like, I thought I heard my name. So that was interesting. And there were quite a few times where we heard stuff in our own ears that we actually caught on the audio.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was pretty interesting. The place is amazing. That's why I want to go back.
Yeah, I'd love to get there sometime.
I'm in Florida. I work at the Plaza Resort and Spa in Daytona. The place is active. I have some footage of a microwave running and no time display, and the room is not running for days. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's pretty
Interesting.
Crazy. Yeah. What is my big go-to is always the history. Like, what's the history of the place?
Yeah.
And I know with being like a hotel resort, you'll get, people die there because people go and do stupid things in hotels. Yeah, I have to look that up. But yeah, hotel rooms, I don't know, they all kind of seem haunted just because people go and unalive themselves and other things, and they're murders, and people die of natural causes and things, and so I don't know. Also, the interesting thing is that the majority of places that are haunted tend to be where people sleep. So I wonder what that connection is between us sleeping and the place being haunted. But yeah, Brescia is pretty awesome, and I found out that I thought this was bullshit, but it's built in the shape of a cross, and it's upside down. So when you come at it, it's upside down.
Right.
They actually did that on purpose when they built it. It was actually purposely built that way. It's a 200-year-old hotel, a lot of history, mob deaths, jumpers, 2 people unalived themselves while I worked there. Wow. Yeah, that 200-year-old, that's a lot of history there. That's a lot. A lot of people.
A lot of people in and out.
Passing away. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's cool to have experiences there, just day to day. I've had that when I worked in nursing homes when I was younger. Just having things happen, not even worried about paranormal. I'm just doing my job at the nursing home, and I have to look it up. Little girl's been seeing the feature on the news. Cool. Yeah, thank you. I'll have to check that out for sure. But yeah, it's interesting just be going through your daily life. My house is, I have shit happen in my house all the time, like you do. And you have shit happen around you all the time. That's just kind of normal. I just kind of expect it. But being at work and have something just happen out of nowhere is kind of just weird. And there's an extra creep factor there because your mindset is on what you're doing job wise that has nothing to do with the paranormal.
Exactly.
Mine was working in nursing homes, so I'm taking care of my patients, and that has nothing to do with the paranormal. But and have things happen was pretty crazy. We had a lady at one of the nursing homes I worked at who, if she started yelling about the man in the corner, and she's freaked out. She was an Alzheimer's patient, and you couldn't ask her a question and get like an answer. Like, what I'm saying? That's how far gone with Alzheimer's she was. And but if she started yelling about the man in the corner and trying to crawl out of her bed because she's afraid of him, somebody would die within 24 to 48 hours. And deaths usually come in threes in nursing homes and shit, which is crazy.
I've heard that.
Too. Hospitals too.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
You've had some weird things happen with your work.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like wherever I work. Yeah, that too.
You're just haunted, Austin.
You're not wrong. I mean, it's pretty much anywhere I go. I mean, every job that I've had has had some sort of activity out there, and I mean, I don't know, man. It's just life.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point I'm haunted too. I mean,
right.
It's just that whole thing. The more you do it, more you look into the abyss, the more the abyss looks into you type shit.
Yeah.
That seems to be true. And if you talk to any paranormal investigators who've been doing it for a long time, they'll tell you the same thing. But yeah. I'm currently scheduling new guests, and I've got some interesting ones coming up, so I'm excited. I think this may be my best season, Austin. I don't want to take anything away from my other guests I've had on the first 3 seasons. But for me, I'm having a lot of fun with these guests, talking to them and the topics and the stuff that we're talking about and getting into. Like, I'm just having a blast with it. Not that I haven't
Yeah.
enjoyed the first 3 seasons. That's why I'm still doing the shit. But
Right.
But if anybody
Those
has
were
guest
just
suggestions,
yeah. No, yeah, I'm loving it so far. I just like how it's so. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna get. Like I have no idea. Each
yeah,
week it could be anything.
yeah, but that's me too. Like I don't know. I mean, I
Right.
know what guest is coming up, but when I go to talk to them, to chat with them, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of like, especially with the individual paranormal teams.
Hmm.
Some of them have never been on podcasts. I can't really do a whole lot of research on them,
Yeah.
so I don't know, what I'm going to get. And they typically, if they say yes and they're not too nervous, they typically turn out to be really
Right.
good guests. And I've been very fortunate to. I don't do pre-interviews. I talk to them on chat or whatever, but very fortunate. And then the way that I just get some guests is crazy. The William C. Graves, the English guy who was
Oh
amazing,
yeah.
his book, he posted it that it just come out. He posted it in some random paranormal group that I'm in, and was just saying, "Hey, check out my book." And I messaged him right away, like, "Will you come on the show?" Because I hadn't heard him on anybody else's show. And then I
Right.
went and read the book. I scheduled him like 3 or 4 days out, so I only had like 2 days to read the book because I had other stuff going on. So I quickly read the book, and that's crazy. He's raised now. He's up to, I think, about $20,000 US that he's raised for that cancer center.
Jeez.
Yeah, and every dime is going to that cancer center. So
That's
pretty
amazing.
awesome. Yeah, he's a really, really nice guy. His name is not William C. Grave. He's actually on my Facebook. I actually talked to him.
Oh,
He
okay.
sees my stuff and likes it, and I see his stuff. But yeah, that's a pen name. He didn't want to have the attention on him and his friends, and because he still lives in that same
Yeah,
house.
it's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, so he kind of changed all that. I think we talked about that a little on the show. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Matthew, I knew Matthew Bird would be fun conversation just because
Right.
I just like I like how we got in the weeds. I actually edited out about 30 minutes of that conversation.
Oh, I can imagine.
We just got way off topic, and I think it was an interesting conversation between the two of us, but I think everybody was really bored with it. So we were shooting the shit about the paranormal, and it just wasn't anything anybody would care about listening to.
Right. Yeah, I just like Matthew because Matthew, you throw literally anything at him. It doesn't matter what it has. It could be anything within the world of paranormal, and he has an opinion on it. And he has something to back up his opinion. I'm like, dude, how do you know this much stuff? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting the same way. I'm not done too much on, but I'm kind of, because I've been researching for so long and diving into things. And also going on other people's shows is weird because I never know what they're going to ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And so I get asked them the weirdest shit. Like, I get asked about Bigfoot all the time. I'm like, I'm a ghost guy. Like,
right.
I give you my opinion on Bigfoot. But I don't know. I'm not a cryptozoologist. I've never even been on a Bigfoot hunt because I prefer to stay out of the woods because there's shit in there that will eat you. So, there really is shit in the woods that can kill you, especially in my neck of the woods where we have mountain lions and bears are starting to move back into the middle Tennessee and shit. So, no, I don't want to be in the woods. And also, I find it interesting how they investigate for Bigfoot anyway, because depending on where you're at, you got to be familiar with the animals that you're not saying that it's bullshit. I'm just saying that, and there are a lot of people that are very adept at where they live, and they know the woods and things, and they know what's animals and what's not. But I always get asked about Bigfoot for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I wonder if Bigfoot is still the most popular cryptid.
I can tell you when it comes to my episodes of my shows that the Bigfoot episodes are the most popular.
Really?
Yeah. As far as podcasts.
It seemed like Bigfoot just kind of dwindled off. But I don't know.
Well, I think the alien stuff, the alien disclosure stuff is kind of taking it over in that world. Because people don't understand, like, us ghost people, it's a completely separate world from, like, cryptozoologists and alien people.
Yeah.
Like, we intermingle, but, it's not two worlds that come together very often.
Right.
They kind of do their thing, and we do ours, and, But and I have one more gripe, and I hate to be gripey on here, but the one thing that's really irritating me lately because I've dove very heavily into like native culture and native folklore and things like that. And behind me, I have a bunch of books on all of that stuff. And not that I'm any kind of expert whatsoever. It's my ancestry, and so I'm interested in it. But I come from Cherokee, and some of my family are Cherokee. But anyway, people are taking skinwalkers and putting them everywhere.
Yeah.
I saw a thing where there was a British YouTube page that titled their video "Skinwalkers in Sussex" or whatever city they're in the UK. No, that's a Navajo thing. In the Midwest of the United States, there's only 2 or 3 tribes that do skinwalkers.
Yeah.
And that is in the Midwest, Navajos and all that. So if your lily white ass is investigating in fucking New York, you're not going to find a fucking skinwalker.
Right.
I'm sorry to tell you, you're not. It's a completely different culture. And I'm not saying they don't that native culture up there, like the Algonquins and shit like that, didn't have something similar.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you the Shawnee and the Cherokee never had a skinwalker.
Yeah.
They also, the other cultural appropriation shit that they're doing, and I'm not trying to be into the race thing, but is also taking, and not all Native American cultures had shamans or people doing magic. The Cherokee people never had shamans. They also didn't have such a thing called a medicine man. They had medicine women because it was a matriarchal society. The women ruled the Cherokee culture because they're the ones that could create life. And so instead of their men being like, get barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, they were like, get barefoot at your ass out and find me some food. You know, the women told everybody what to do. And so they had medicine women. They never had shamans and magic and all this other stuff that gets attributed to all these different cultures. Like the different native tribes had different cultures. It wasn't just big smashed together, you know, everybody believes in skinwalkers. The Cherokee, they wouldn't even have an idea what a skinwalker was. And if you look at the Navajo tradition, you have to do certain things in their culture to become a skinwalker. One of the things is cannibalizing one of your own family members, I believe, if I remember correctly. And you got to do all this specific things that are specific to the Navajo. And so to take the skinwalker and put them in Europe or anywhere else across the United States, other than the Midwest, from the Uintah Basin in Utah, where Skinwalker Ranch is. But skinwalkers become a buzzword. So you have all these YouTubers and people using that word, and they don't even know what it means. They don't even know, you know, but I just want people to know it's specific to the Midwest of the United States. Within, I think it's 3 tribes. It's the Navajo, and it's the, I forget the tribe in the Uintah Basin. But, and then there's another tribe out there that the skinwalker, they're very similar people and their beliefs are very similar. But there are other tribes in the United States that do shamans and have magic and things like that. I need to have the guys from Falling Out Radio back on the Unseen Paranormal because they're awesome. Them two, I forget where they live and what tribe that they're from, but they actually grew up on the reservation out in, I think it's Montana, South Dakota, somewhere out in that area. And they still live up that way, but they talk about and they tell stories about their friends and them having experiences with people doing what they call magic. And and they call it their medicine, is what they call it. It's either good medicine or bad medicine. But they talk about these magic things and little people and all this other stuff. And a lot of it is similar to other tribes have some of those same beliefs. But they have shamans and things in their tribe. They have medicine men that do the medicine is magic to them. And so it's different, you know, it's different. And so, I just wish people would stop taking skinwalker and just make it a blanket term for anything cryptid or spooky or, you know, it's skinwalkers. It's a phenomenon that, and maybe a skinwalker is just like an elemental, as we call them.
True.
An elemental spirit that never lived or something like that. But yeah, the term skinwalker is very much, I don't know. What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree with you.
Like I'm bored.
No. I'm 100% on board with you. And I think, you know, there's a couple of issues. I think one of the big issues is that, you know, Native Americans didn't always have a good time in this country. So, you know, it's like whenever we're like, especially like school, it's like, hey, Native Americans exist. They were all the same. Like they don't exactly say that, but it's like we're going to rush through this really quick. So we're going to think that they all lived in teepees with their shaman and, and that's kind of like the image that people get in their heads. And so I think that's part of the issue is that they don't know the huge, huge, huge differences between the tribes.
Yeah.
And, and I think the other thing is like, since, they were so spiritual, we also attribute a lot of stuff to them that's like ridiculous. Like it's always like, oh, there's a Indian burial ground. It's like, well, essentially this whole country is like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean that place is haunted because there's an Indian burial ground there. Like, so I don't know. I think it really just comes out of like a large misunderstanding. And now the question is, could there be some sort of like Tulpa thing that starts playing in? Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're 100% right. People just don't understand, and it's unfortunate because it's such an important part of history that we just don't know because we were taught, it's pretty much all the same, and so you don't know any different. You just don't know to know better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it's also the same with it's not just indigenous people. It's also like Spanish speaking people. South America.
Yeah.
If you look, everybody's Mexican. That's what the general basically that's what the general public in the United States think. And I'm dumbing it down a little bit, but
yeah,
you have Puerto Ricans, you have Cubans that are Spanish speaking. You have Hondurans, you have Guatemalans, and Guatemala is completely different than Mexico. And you have, Brazil and Peru and like all these South American countries that speak a lot of them speak some sort of dialect of Spanish. Some of them, I think, speak Portuguese.
Portuguese,
but, or a mix of the two. Yep. But just because they're South American doesn't mean they're all Mexican. Mexico does not take up all of South America. Mexico is its own little country. Guatemala is its own little country. And they all speak their own kind of dialect of Spanish, those Spanish-speaking countries. Or, like I said, you get in like Peru and places like that, Venezuela. I think it's a mix between Portuguese and Spanish, and maybe some Dutch down in there. It's a mixed language. But yeah, I think it's just a blanket like that with Spanish people too, because they're all brown, they all look the same. So let's just
right. That one thing that has always bothered me.
But you're right, because that's how we were taught. I mean, anyway.
Yeah. But you look at like a lot of these like paranormal TV shows. How many have you seen go to, we'll say, Mexico? I remember a few in like Germany and stuff like that, and they do EVP sessions in English.
And they get answers in English.
Right. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, like how does that work?
I don't think that's how that works.
Right. Yeah. Really, I mean, there's not many that go like South America all around the world. Josh Gates, when he did the
show, yep, Destination Truth, or what was that? Was that it?
I don't remember. He's had so many shows.
Yeah,
and they're all similar title. They have like Expedition and all this other stuff.
Expedition Unknown, or
Expedition Unknown. That's what it was. I think that's what it was. Yeah, Expedition Unknown. But yeah, he's one of the only ones that's got like going all around the world and did the different paranormal sites and interesting places like that.
Yeah,
and there's a couple times where they got EVPs that were in like the native language,
right?
But there's a lot of times, most shows they didn't get anything because it's more about the journey than it was the destination.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so that's for me. That's what I think the paranormal is all about, and I think that's what a lot of people forget is it's not always about capturing anything.
Yep.
To me, I love that we get to go in these places like Brushy Mountain. Yeah, we have to rent it out, but the general public doesn't get to go everywhere at Brushy Mountain. If you go during a day tour, you don't get to go in the third and fourth tiers. You don't get to go in these other buildings that we get to go into.
Yep.
And that's like all these different historical places that we get to go into that the general public doesn't get to see the way that we get to see them. And it's just amazing. And to have free roam of them too. Two Rivers Mansion, which you got to investigate.
Yeah.
When I was out of town, Two Rivers Mansion, I've investigated twice. And that place, unless you are going to a wedding there, you'll never see that place.
Yeah.
Because they only do events. They're not open for tours. They don't do tours. They don't do historical anything. They do events and they do weddings. And they rent it out for that. Somehow Regina talked them into letting us in there to investigate. There's only been 4 paranormal investigations ever conducted there.
Right.
And I was part of 3 of them. So, which is pretty awesome. But places like that just that place is amazing. The inside is beautiful in that place, and it's just the way it's built is awesome. But so for me, a lot of times it's the journey to get there.
100%.
Like even driving out to Brushy with Caleb and Brian in the car and us joking and talking, that was a blast. We had a blast driving the 3.5 hours out there, you know. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. And that's my favorite paranormal documentaries. The one reason I like Small Town Monsters so much is, for one, I've never seen them fake anything. They'll put a whole documentary out and never catch any evidence whatsoever, whatever they're looking for, because for them it's about the journey,
right,
and how they got there. And you know, it's not about, okay, they didn't capture anything, that sucks, but at least they went out and did it, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely think, you know, for me, it's like really being, like you said, being able to be in those places. Like all these places are so historically significant, and like, you're standing where, you know, presidents have stood, you know, like Lincoln, or, you know, like my favorite place, Prospect Place here in Ohio, you know, Abraham Lincoln stayed there. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like standing in a room that Abraham Lincoln was once in. Like, that's just, to me, that's like the biggest thing. And it's like, okay, we also have some paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
But I always say, like, even if we go there and we don't catch anything, you almost feel honored to be able to be in that place.
Right.
Like, it's like a weird, empowering, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's a feeling unlike anything else when you're able to go there and like put yourself back in that time period, or like think about who was there, what happened there. And it's, you know, the history. It's just keeping those places alive so that other people can experience, you know, history is what's, you know, a lot of what it's about.
Yeah, and also the possibility that we may be connecting with those people from history.
Right.
Yeah. That maybe that EVP that you caught, or that figure that
who
you
was
caught.
Who was the most famous EVP ever captured? I wonder.
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a famous person.
It would be hard, because you have some of these people out here who are using.
Oh my God, I know.
That's a completely different topic. I don't want
to. Yeah.
You have some of these people out here using spirit boxes the day after somebody dies that's famous, and they're trying to contact them. Like, that's completely disrespectful and fucked up of you to do.
Yep.
There was a guy that put a YouTube video up trying to contact the people from that submarine that imploded.
Yep, I saw that.
Yep. Like a week after they figured out it imploded and the guys died. Whether they were rich assholes or not is neither here nor there. They were human beings, and they deserve the respect. And their families deserve the respect of you not putting your bullshit out there.
Yep.
You know, that's ridiculous. But like Mind the Monster said, it's all about those clicks. And I guarantee you they probably have, if we go look right now, they probably have millions of views on that video.
Yep.
And, you know, so yeah, and but like we're talking about, it's the opportunity. I think that's what I love most about paranormal investigating, is the opportunity to connect to people in history.
Right.
Because even everyday people, and kind of keep their memory alive. Because these are people who a lot of them have been forgotten in history because they weren't important enough in their lives. You know, if they just weren't important people that are remembered in history, written in books or anything. And so it's easy to forget those people. And at the same time, when I die, I hope there is an afterlife, so that maybe somebody will come. I'll go haunt somebody. Maybe they'll come find me and talk to me. Right. And kind of keep my memory alive that way. My name that way. I really don't want to be stuck on Earth. I'd rather, if there is another place to go to, I'd rather move the fuck on.
Right.
We standing around here with nobody to talk to for 150 years.
Right.
But that brings up another topic that me and Matthew were talking about. And this is one I have a really strong opinion on. Not as if I don't have strong opinions on about it. At least they're fucking educated. But it's about people, this whole demonic thing of people getting scratched and saying that it's demonic and things like that. And
I love that part of your guys', because you guys brought up a point I never thought of.
And that's something that I've thought about over the years of, okay, how frustrating would it be if you are stuck somewhere in a house or a location, you can't talk to anybody because nobody can fucking see or hear you. How frustrating would that be? And if you're still like an intelligent conscience, right? You still have a consciousness, you're still intelligent, you would be pissed off. And if the only thing that you could do was scratch somebody to get their attention, then you would do it. And maybe it's not even malicious, you know, or push somebody if that's the only thing you do, you know. And then also, like Matthew was talking about, with working with the mentally challenged, some of them can't communicate.
Exactly.
And so some of these places that we go into to investigate, maybe they can't communicate. So they're just going to nudge you or push you, or, you know. I have what I believe was a little girl spirit poke me in the butt cheek at Thomas' house. But it seemed like a little kid, because it just felt like somebody standing behind me and poked me in the butt cheek to get me to move out of the doorway. Because I stand in the doorway with my back to the dark hallway. The hallway was dark. Everybody else is in the room. Everybody else is sitting down. Also, on the same time, whatever you think about the SS method, I've had some good things with it. The girl who was doing the SS method said, "Sit down." Well, I was the only one that was not sitting. And about 10 seconds after that, I felt what felt like a finger poked me in the butt cheek. And so I went and sat down. You know?
Right.
But yeah, maybe that's the only way they can get people's attention. And then also, I always say, if you're an asshole in life, you're gonna be an asshole in death.
Yep.
If you carry over as an intelligent consciousness, why, if you were a prick in life, why wouldn't you have that same attitude in death? Especially if you're stuck, or if you can't talk to anybody, nobody can see you. Like, that's just gonna make somebody with that disposition even meaner, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking about, you know, demonic entities, you know, who supposedly have power to possess and stuff like that, if all it can do is scratch me, I mean, come on. Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're a demon? Okay.
Right.
you did what like a 4-year-old kid could do to me. Like, come on now. So I think it is ridiculous how they kind of blow that out of proportion. And that started with the TV shows, and probably more so Ghost Adventures than anything.
Well, when
making
you're
whole stretch
douchebaggins,
demonic.
when you're douchebaggins and you get possessed every episode.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring problem to him.
Well, all he did was take that from Most Haunted in England. You ever seen that show?
Which one was that?
Derek Akura, the old guy. He's a psychic. He's got big poofy white hair. And he's melodramatic as shit. And he gets possessed every episode.
Yes.
I believe that's what they've modeled Ghost Adventures off of.
Okay.
It is Most Haunted. And I used to watch it. That was the first paranormal show I ever saw. Long before other than like sightings with Leonard Nimoy and like Unsolved Mysteries when they did the ghost stuff, but like a dedicated paranormal show to ghost. That was the first one I ever saw, and I used to pirate them on LimeWire and and all of that. It would take 8 hours to download one episode over dial-up every night,
right?
And I would watch them, and I knew they were bullshit. I knew that he was full of shit, but it was the only paranormal content that I could consume. You know, the internet wasn't big like it is now, where you find all this paranormal stuff. YouTube wasn't around, none of that stuff.
Yep.
You know, I could go get books from the library, which I did, and me and my friends would go out ourselves. But that was only like, and I never took anything. I took some things from them investigative style, because they had a parapsychologist on there, Kieran O'Keefe, and he's still around. He still does some of the British shows, and he's really a parapsychologist. And he did the TV show, but you would always see him back there like shaking his head like, this is card shit, because he's really a parapsychologist. He has a doctorate. It's Dr. Kieran O'Keefe. He has a doctorate in parapsychology.
Right.
And so I took some things from him, like investigative wise, but that was the first paranormal show I ever watched. And I would download it any chance I could get, just to, I don't know, have the camaraderie, I guess, because I didn't know anybody else that did this shit until I was 18. I didn't know that people actually did it all the time as a group, like got together in a group, and there was actually things as Nashville Paranormal and Tennessee, these groups that actually existed doing it back then. To me, it was just me and my friends, and we were just trying to figure out what the hell happens when you die.
Exactly.
My buddy Adrian, I think it was on my 18th birthday, 18 or 19, somewhere around there. He actually bought me a book that was The Beginner's Guide to Ghost Hunting, and that was when I realized people actually fucking do this. Like, you know,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's wild. There were so many.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. All the shows that I watched, like the first paranormal shows, they were all English. Like,
Yeah.
like that show. Then there was I forget which one it was or what it was called, but they used to have this one where they took families and they put them in quote unquote haunted locations, and then they make them like do challenges and stuff like that. Like they'd go to like Dracula's castle, or they did like I think they I don't know, but they would go all these haunted places, but they were like all
Yeah.
English, and I was like, that's weird looking back. There was no really American based paranormal shows
Yeah.
back then that I could think of.
Well, I think Pilgrim Entertainment, who's the one that kind of brought it to America, I think that the guy that started that's English. Mind monsters. If I get to haunt people and grab butt cheeks and do the old fashioned ghost sounds, right? I have been to Belwich Cave. Hell's Bar Dam I have not been to. They don't do investigations out there anymore. Yeah, I'm a Nashville native. I live in Nashville, but yeah, Lemon Between Lakes is crazy. Lemon Between Lakes is famous for dogmen sightings and things. But anyway, Pilgrim Entertainment are the ones who originally produced Ghost Hunters, and I think they do now again.
Oh, okay.
In this second reiteration. And I think the dude that started that is English. And you have a lot of Canadian companies that do.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna do an episode of haunted hospitals, and I decided not to. I didn't like their contract, but I was gonna do an episode of haunted hospitals, and the reason I didn't do it is because they're gonna own my story for like almost 2 years before the fucking episode ever came out, and I wasn't allowed to ever tell it on another podcast, tell it on my podcast. I couldn't tell that story until it aired. And I'm like, no, that's my story. You're not gonna own my story for 2 years, and you're not even paying me anything.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I got a free lunch, and I'm gonna drive to Nashville and film. Like, okay, whatever. Anyway, that's why I didn't do it. But they are from Canada, and actually, I originally got the call from them Thanksgiving Day during the pandemic in 2021 was the first time that I talked to a producer from Haunted Hospitals, and they're from Canada, and they ended up not filming season 2 or 3 in the United States because they couldn't. It was hard for them to travel into the United States from Canada with COVID going on.
Yeah.
And so anyway, a couple years later, I had a different producer contact me. But yeah, they're from Canada. So and I think that's why it started in New England too, with all the ghost shows, like with Ghost Adventure, and not Ghost Adventure.
That makes sense. Ghost Hunters.
And all those shows, the reason a lot of the people live, like Dave Schrader and all the shows he's done, Hoax Files, they're all from New England area.
Yeah.
And you have Toronto right there across the border. Well, that's where a lot of these production companies that do the ghost shows come from, because they also do ghost shows for TNE. And TNE is basically the Canada equivalent of Travel Channel or Discovery Channel. And yeah, you know, so I think that's why it made it to America to begin with. The first show that they did that was a hit. Now, Sci-Fi Channel did like the documentaries, individual ones. They started doing the individual ones. That's how Ghost Adventures got started with with Nick Groff and Douchebaggins and the bald-headed dude that's on drugs. Aaron, or he used to be on drugs. I don't know if he still is. He used to be a heroin addict or something. Anyway, good for him to getting clean. I think he's clean now. Good on him. But they had a documentary that they put on, the Sci-Fi put on. That's what got them famous, and then 2 years later they got a TV show. But MTV's Fear.
Yes.
What kicked off, and what a lot of people don't know, Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters was a producer on that show.
Yep.
The producer. I may be misspeaking. He was at least a location scout and a consultant. And that show, if anybody remembers that show, it was fake. It was fake.
Oh yeah. Now,
they went to Penthurst and all these places that they went to Waverly Hills, all these places nobody had really heard of yet. And Waverly Hills might not have been around then. Anyway, I know they went to Penthurst Asylum and some of these bigger places.
Moundsville.
Yeah. And but Jason Hawes was at least a consultant on that show. And it was all fake. It was just them people with cameras and scaring the shit out of them, playing sounds and bangs and things. And so I found that interesting because then he goes on to do a paranormal reality show that's supposed to be all real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you know, but you never saw how they did the tricks, but it was all fake.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not saying it was all fake because they were going into places that are supposedly haunted. Some of the stuff may have been real.
True.
But they faked a lot of stuff moving. The producers did. And it was a whole setup, you know, to scare.
100%.
It was called fear. That was the point. Was to scare.
Yep.
It's not like normal paranormal investigating where you go in these places and nothing fucking happens and we're just crazy people talking to nothing in the dark all night.
Right.
They couldn't have that because then they make an interesting show called Fear.
Right.
You know, and they had to do these individual challenges and things. It was a fun show. But they never said that the paranormal stuff was real. Exactly. I think they even had a disclaimer saying this is for entertainment. This is an experiment in fear and people being scared. They never put it out there as a paranormal investigation show. So good on them. But LBL, when you go up there, it's crazy. We go up there every summer and ride in our Jeep. And Lemon Between the Lakes, if nobody knows what we're talking about, it's a Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley. And it's two man-made lakes that are fucking massive. People actually have yachts out there. That's how big these lakes are. And they actually have their own wave action. That's how big these lakes are. They're huge. And but they flooded these two valleys from the Cumberland River and Tennessee River. And I think the Tennessee River makes Kentucky Lake, and the Cumberland River makes Lake Barkley. So Lemon Between Lakes is a big strip of land that was up on a plateau, kind of mountaintop, that goes right down the middle in between these two giant lakes. There's all kind of other small lakes and ponds. There's all kind of creeks and things that run through there. But they ran the people out of there when they flooded the valleys. So do you know about Lemon Between Lakes, Austin?
Yeah, a little bit from what you've told me about it.
Yeah. But there's like whole towns that are underwater. There's cemeteries that are underwater, everything. People still go and dive on them. When the water's low enough, you can actually see the steeple of a church poking out of the water.
That's awesome.
And the buildings are there, which is crazy. But Lemon Between Lakes is a crazy place. Just going there, the energy is different. It's a cool place. But people go up there and camp, and they have plenty of campsites. You can camp on the water and things like that. They have rated trails, and so the lower the number, the less taken care of they are. So if you get into the 100s, you better have a 4-wheel drive because they don't take care of the roads at all. Well, that's cool. Yeah, Lemon Between Lakes, I didn't even know until a couple of years ago that it was a big hotspot for dogmen and werewolves and that type of stuff. But Lemon Between Lakes is weird because you'll be driving around through some of the roads, and there's roads all through there, and you'll just see stairs to nowhere where a house used to be. Or you'll see like buttercups and irises planted where somebody had planted them along what was the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they still grow in the same straight line where the people planted them.
That's cool.
Property. Yeah, it's crazy. There's some places up there that you'll see chimneys, like brick or some chimneys still standing. And then also there's lots of graveyards that are really old. Headed out that way, there's an old iron furnace that Roger can trace his roots back to. His great four great grandfather was from Ireland, and he was a stonemason, and he built this iron furnace, and he carved a bear in the top of it, and it's still there. Oh wow! Yeah, it's right next to the road. We got pictures of it. It's starting to fall in now. But what they used to do was they pour the iron ore in the top, and it would melt, and they would have the actual iron come out the bottom of it. But
damn.
Yeah, that whole area is cool as shit. You come out here sometime, we'll have to take you out through there when it's spring or summer. It's really cool. There's all kinds of trails and stuff. We take our Jeep up there and go forward and shit. I don't camp, so don't expect me. I will not sleep in a fucking tent. Nope, not me. I will glamp. You give me an RV or a cabin, I'm good with that. But no tents. I'm not a big tent person. I don't care to be moist. I don't care to be moist for 4 days and have crotch rot. You know, I'm good.
That's half the fun,
rocks and shit.
Yeah.
No, I need at least a blow up mattress and something thicker than vinyl walls where Bigfoot can reach in and snatch me out of there. Also,
It makes for good content.
if you live.
Yeah.
I don't want to be another government cover up in LBL.
Right.
Well, apparently they've covered up a couple of fucking murders that people think are from Dogman. They were ripped apart by like some sort of beast, and
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
back in the 80s. Yeah. There's a guy I need to get him on the show. He wrote a book about that particular case, and it's a real case. And they got ripped to shreds. These people came and got ripped to shreds. I think it was 3 or 4 of them. And they said that it was mountain lion or something. But how's a mountain lion gonna kill like 3 or 4 people? All at once.
Right.
They're strong. They ain't that strong. But yeah, Lemon Lakes is cool. I went to they had a Dogman Cryptid conference in Paris, Tennessee, a couple years ago that I went to, and the reason they had it in Paris, Tennessee, because that's kind of on one of the ends of Lemon Lakes. And when I was a kid, I used to go search old cemeteries up there. Being from Duke, the lake was the only thing to do. Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, that's an awesome area. It's beautiful up there. And I think it's Grand Rivers. Have you ever been to Patty's 1800 Settlement, Mind the Monster? Because that place is amazing. But we always go there and eat when we drive through Lemon Lakes. But anyway, I thought my buddy John Curley was going to jump on. I don't know. He may when he gets home. But John Curley from Harrisburg area Paranormal. But yeah, we got lots of things coming up, investigations. So look out for videos and things like that. If you haven't gone over to TikTok, go over to TikTok and subscribe to the Unseen Paranormal. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos over there. I'm going to do some evidence videos. I've got a couple over there from Brushy Mountain now. Yeah, we got a bunch of public ghost hunts coming up and everything. What are you doing over there? Looking at porn? You're all intent about it.
No, I was. You had a dramatic pause there. I thought you were about to reveal something crazy. I was totally focused.
I've had weird stuff going on in my house here lately.
Really?
Yeah, the old resident spirit's been making himself known. It's one of those things for like 6 months, won't have anything, and then he kind of recharges his batteries, I guess. And then
it seems to be how it goes.
Yeah, and Caleb, since he moved in with us, he's been seeing experiencing shit too. And then also my damn ghost dog. My ghost dog's been around lately a lot. I've seen him a couple times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, little white dog. Little white. His name is Chase. But if you go, the actual story, if anybody wants to hear it, I've told it on other podcasts, but I have told it really in depth in one of the Sin Trader Hills books. She put it in her book. Her book is called "It's Not Goodbye," and I forget the rest of the title. It's Not Goodbye. Tales from the Other Side or something like that. But it's in that book. I have it over here somewhere. This is her newest one that I wrote the forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Realm of Shadows. If I can get the damn camera right. But yeah, I love Century Girl. She's awesome. She's gonna be joining us in January and at Brushy Mountain.
Nice.
So, have you ever met her?
No, I haven't.
I don't think you got a chance to meet her. She's awesome. You met her at the expo, did you?
Wait. Yes.
Yeah. She's awesome. Awesome investigator. Awesome. I don't know why her books aren't more popular. She's a great author.
I think let me, before I misspeak.
Okay, so the people killed at Lemon Lakes, mother, father, daughter, and son, and there's a male and family claims he was there that night. Yeah, I just saw the book the other day. I think I favorited it on Amazon, so I can contact the guy and see if I can get him on the show to talk about it, about that story that the police supposedly and the government covered it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I find that stuff interesting with the government cover-ups and the missing persons stuff, the missing 411 stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. What was I? Oh, it's I think David Paulides' latest documentary that he put out this past year or the year before. It's the UFO connection or whatever, the Bigfoot, whatever the fuck it's called. Anyway, there's a story in there where the RCMP showed up and basically made them stop searching for this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
They come in with they helped them search for a day and then told them all the search and rescue people to go away.
Yep.
and they come in with fucking AR-15s and shit to search for a missing person.
Yep.
Which is interesting. Why would you need an AR-15 to search for a missing person?
Right.
You know, I can see like a sidearm. You know, if you had a pistol or something, because wildlife. But why would you?
Right.
Why would you have like this whole SWAT team of Royal Canadian Mounted Police come in to search for a missing person with all this tactical gear and stuff? That was interesting. And they only let them search for like 24 hours after they come in, and they told them to get out of the woods. It was dangerous.
Yep.
And they still haven't found that lady's husband. Their explanation is that he fell in water and drowned. Well, if he did that, eventually the gases in the body are going to make the body float.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, the missing 411 stuff's kind of died down too. What I've seen, that was really big for a while. I think we're coming back around to ghosts being popular again in the paranormal world.
Yeah, I think we are too. I really do. I think aliens had its time to shine, this year. Now they were kind of like, eh.
Well, it's funny because our government's come out and said, "Hey, fucking aliens exist," and everybody's like, "Man, whatever."
Right.
How about you fucking balance our budget and lower the prices at the grocery store?
Exactly. Like, yeah,
get
on that.
Fuck them aliens.
Yeah.
If they're not gonna come out here and pay for my bills, fuck them.
Right.
Then come to Walmart and pay for my groceries. Nobody cared. That's what I don't understand. Nobody fucking cared.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even pay attention to any of that because I'm just like, I really don't. I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah,
I definitely know that they exist somewhere out there. Now, I don't believe they ever came here, but I believe they exist.
Yeah. Yeah, the Dennis Martin case is really interesting. I've had Steve Stockton on the show, and we've talked about that a couple times. And I found that interesting. I think it was the Brown family. No, it was I think both families are named Martin or there's some weird connection there. But the family that saw what they said looked like a guy dressed all from head to toe in brown across the valley on this mountainside carrying what they thought was a kid over his shoulder.
Oh, I remember that.
Well, the police never went and, from what I understand, the police never went and interviewed those people until way after the fact. Until way after the fact. And so, yeah, they think that the family thinks that they saw a Bigfoot carrying the Dennis Martin off.
It's absolutely insane.
Well, and I see like the 101st Airborne going out and like the Coast Guard of Tennessee, like going out and searching is one thing. Like, I understand that because that's your manpower of like going out and getting hundreds of people in the woods or whatever. What I'm talking about, if you haven't seen this Mind of Monsters, what I'm talking about is they come in like a fucking SWAT team. And there's also cases where the FBI has come in. Well, you know what? Our tax money does not pay the FBI to do missing person cases unless it crosses state lines. If it's kidnapping or it crosses state lines. But if somebody's just missing in a national park, the FBI has nothing to do with that. That is not within their scope of what they do. Excuse me. So that's what makes those cases interesting. And what I'm talking about with the RCMP, they came in like they were ready to fucking mow somebody, take out an army. Yeah. They come in, with tactical gear on and AR-15s and, things like that. So that's what made that weird. And then the fact that they only do the actual search and rescue people that do this for a living, they only let them search for like 24 hours until they rushed them out of the area and would not let them come back and search. And the one search and rescue guy that he interviews on that documentary said that in his 25 years, he's never had that happen before. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes it weird. And, but yeah, with the FBI coming in, but yeah, a lot of the times you'll have, the military come in and help search for people, but they don't go out, in all their flak jackets and helmets and, 8 guns on them and ammo and, because they're just going in the mountains, looking for somebody. And if you're going arm to arm with 50 people sweeping the woods, I don't think you have to worry about mountain lions and bears attacking anybody. You're going to scare them off long before you ever get to them. And so
that's true.
Missing advocate, Bigfoot lover. Yeah. That's one of my kind of side passions is the missing people stuff. There's so many interesting cases and in it, and I think that's one of the reasons I think it's awesome. A lot of people don't like the missing 411 stuff because they said that they think that it's exploiting people. Here's John Kelly. Hey, buddy, what's up?
Well, hey, what's going on, Eric?
Welcome to the show.
What's up, my brother?
But a lot of people think that people are exploiting the missing and stuff. But I think it brings more attention to missing person cases
Exactly.
in general, and people pay more attention to missing person cases than they used to, especially with the rise of all the true crime
Right.
podcasts and things out there. I thought about doing the true crime podcast before I started Don't See Paranormal because I'm a huge true crime nut too, and I thought ethically I don't even want to get in that arena because the ethics of it are very difficult.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. We got Mr. John Curley from Harrisburg Area Paranormal. And you got another book coming out about you? Did I see about that?
Yeah. I'm working on one with Anna again.
With Anna again. If y'all haven't checked it out, John's been on the show. If you haven't checked out the episode, go listen to it. But his team and him were the subject of Unholy Structure by Anna Maria Manalo, who's an amazing author, and the story is crazy. Me and him talked at length about it on his show and on mine, and just an amazing case at an amazing location. And I was special and got to see pictures of the real place, which is a secret.
Yeah, that place was awesome, man.
Yeah,
a lot of activity.
What you mentioned me the other day and said you had some crazy stuff going on around Gettysburg. What's going on with that?
Yeah, we're doing a case up in Gettysburg with a woman having an attachment. A couple of paranormal investigators have been in the house, but she's having stuff like her hair, just things moving around the house. So we investigated it a little bit. We were there for a couple hours a couple weeks ago, and we definitely caught some pretty cool stuff on the XLS. She was holding a K2 meter, and it was going nuts. Like, it was just, I'm thinking maybe it's some unshielded wiring or something in the home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, it's just going really crazy. So I brought out the XLS and I started just I set it down, and we're filming in the hallway where she's standing, and K2 started going kind of crazy, picking up high EMF, and sure enough, man, it's something, it maps something in the XLS. Kind of, it maps a figure out, but it maps it out kind of like it's reaching out, touching the K2, and the K2 is going crazy. And we're like, I said, that's really weird. And she couldn't figure it out. Walked over to it, it would disappear, go back away from it, it would reappear. It was just really weird. I didn't get any kind of like static or anything. Sometimes you get like, we've had that happen where we mapped out something on the XLS and it went over to it, and it was a cold spot, and it was static, and it was interesting. Like, we were like, wow, you can really feel it, like the staticky charge and this cold. It was like cold staticky kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But this case is pretty interesting. I actually met one of the investigators at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that was there, and he investigated the place. So she was talking about some of his experiences, and we had a bunch of recorders out, a bunch of cameras out, XLS. We were doing thermal imaging, full spectrum, taking video of full spectrum, pictures of full spectrum, ultraviolet, a lot of different light spectrums, trying to catch something. And the XLS picked up a few things that are kind of, we're going back and forth with it, but it was interesting. Definitely caught some EVPs and things like that in the home. So it's interesting. It's a pretty interesting case. And we just got another one that's really, really interesting. I have to show you the pictures. They're on my phone, but somebody was dabbling in some meddling in some kind of ritualistic kind of stuff, man. And these people moved into it, but they were showing us pictures of some of the stuff that was left, and they had like two mirrors together. They were facing each other, and they were wrapped in a cloth, and it had all this stuff in Latin written all over it, like almost like binding the mirrors. And they were finding vials of blood in the home.
Oh wow!
Like all kinds of crazy stuff, dude. I'm like, what the hell? And they're seeing what they're saying. What they're seeing is like they're hearing a baby crying like all the time, and there's no babies, and they're seeing what looks like the little figure from Lord of the Rings running through the house. Like,
Gollum.
yeah, Gollum. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
So this is a new case we're getting ready to get involved with. So it's interesting, man. Like some of the stuff that people do is it's dabbling into things they really don't know what they're doing. You know,
Yeah.
and then they open up these things and shit starts to go crazy in a house, and you know they have no idea what they're doing. You know?
Well, and then they move out and leave it to these people, apparently.
Right.
Yeah. These people moved in, and you know now they can't get out of their lease, and they're just stuck. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes the shit gets crazy.
By the way, John, this is my buddy Austin Lawrence.
Hey, Austin,
how you doing?
John Curley.
Good, you?
Man. Yeah, great, man, great.
For everybody that doesn't know, John's forte is doing private investigations. So that's most of what him and his team do, which we need people like
That's
him.
awesome. Yeah.
And he's the real deal. When he's talking about the XLS, that's different than the SLS that you see on TV with the stick figures and shit. The XLS is more like LiDAR.
Yeah.
So it actually maps out the entire room, and you can see the different furniture and things. And he's showing some of the footage that he's gotten with the XLS that just like black thing just comes out of nowhere and follows one of the investigators, looks like down the stairs.
Yeah.
And you can't, I mean, it's not a stick figure. You know what I'm saying? It's actual something physically manifested for the LiDAR to bounce off of it. It has to be a solid object for that LiDAR, you know, to report that back. So yeah, the XLS is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculously expensive too, but but it's worth it, man, because you catch some really cool anomalies on the shit, and you're just like, wow, man, like I thought maybe it was picking up dust and things like that, and I contacted the people that make it, and they're like, no. If you're seeing these things, they have to be something that can map out 3-dimensional, and dust is not a 3-dimensional object. It has to be have to have density to map it out. I was like, wow. So I showed him some of the videos, and he's like, yeah, that's definitely something paranormal. I can't explain that. Like, what the hell that is? I have no idea.
Well, I saw the crazy story about the Xbox Kinect, and Microsoft inadvertently took $1 billion technology and gave it to everybody in their homes in the form of LiDAR, and people started figuring it out. So they started taking, and not just for paranormal investigating, but you've had people make their own LiDAR for drones. Instead of spending $10,000 on a LiDAR camera for a drone, they'll just take the Xbox Kinect and re-engineer it like the XLS is, and reprogram it to do the, you know, when they fly the drones over with the LiDAR, and it kind of takes away the trees and things. Yeah. Some of these scientists that can afford, you know, all this big equipment, they just put them on normal drones. But yeah, Microsoft kind of gave away like $1 billion technology they could have charged so much money for in this $250 gaming piece of gaming, you know. Yeah,
hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's an interesting technology, man. It's 3D mapping is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You start using it in investigating, man, and if you start mapping something, dude, you can scan around the room, and you can look down on it from the side. You can actually see through the walls with it, man. It's pretty incredible technology. Yeah, it's not like Ghost Tube, you know, that ridiculous shit. Like they're on Facebook Live, and they're in a cemetery with Ghost Tube, and it's like, this place is infested. I'm like, dude, that's not even all the shit in the program, dude. Yeah. It's ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, you missed it. The first 45 minutes was me and Austin talking shit and ranting about YouTubers and debunking people and things. Just because it's ridiculous.
The paranormal field has gotten like a 3-ring circus, man. It's it's really unbelievable.
Well, we were talking. Have you heard the controversy with Cody Desmond's and Story Halls?
Yeah,
Jason Hall's daughter with the tapping shit.
Yeah, with the tapping shit. Yeah, you know, like it's legit. It's legit. Man, I don't know. You know, I'd have to see it to believe it. You know, I'm one of those people. I'm a firm believer in seeing is believing. You know.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing there's a
there's so many people. Yeah, sorry.
There's a debunker. There's a bunch of debunkers on YouTube that have been tackling that, and one of the guys, Mythos Paranormal, has done a really good job of putting out videos debunking it. One of the things that he caught, because my biggest thing is like, okay, people were saying that they're using their feet, like cracking knuckles and popping the tendon in your ankle, and you can make a tapping sound with your foot. And he zoomed in on a bunch of different videos of Cody Desmond's, and you can see the muscle move where he's popping it, and it happens at the same time the taps happen. And so I figured out how I can basically snap my toes just like you can snap your fingers.
Oh,
And
wow.
if you do it in the right shoes, you can't see it. And it
Yeah.
sounds like somebody's tapping on the floor, and you feel the vibration of the floor. But my thing was, okay, if you're not doing this with your feet like people are accusing you, then why not put out a video barefoot of you doing it with legit investigators?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
of you doing it if you're not doing it with your feet. And they said they couldn't do that. They weren't allowed.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Colby and Sam and Colby slipped up with is on one of their preview videos, they supposedly debunked them by buying them slippers and taking them. I mean, they supposedly proved it happened. They bought them slippers so they could show it wasn't a device in their shoes and that type of stuff. Well, on one of their preview videos, you see a brief, like, second clip. You know, they're putting all these clips together as like a teaser. This brief clip of Cody and Satori in their socks on this hardwood floor. But they never posted that video of them doing it with just their socks. So Sam and Colby seems like they're part of the cover-up of all that. But to me, it just reminds me of the Fox sisters, you know, with the rapping and tapping. And they came out and said it was them cracking their knuckles. They came out and debunked themselves and said it was all bullshit, you know. So, but yeah, that's been the thing. But yeah, we the first 45 minutes an hour we were just
it's all entertainment, man. That's all it is, dude. It's all a bunch of bullshit entertainment, and it's just like anything anymore. Like you see all the people trying to profit off of paranormal stuff, man. You know, I'm not profiting off of this shit, man. I'm trying to get an answer to it. You know, it's hard to get an answer to it because it's so unpredictable, man. It's such an unpredictable phenomenon that, you know, trying to, you go online and everybody's got an answer to this shit. There are no answers, man.
Right.
There are none. There's more questions than answers, you know. But every paranormal team you see out there, they got the answers, they got the solutions. They can get rid of ghosts, they can get rid of demons, you know, the demon thing, you know. Every YouTuber's got their cases demonic and there's a demon in it. And I've yet to see one in 25 years of doing this. I've never seen a demon, you know. So I've had some crazy shit happen, like scare the hell out of you. But, you know, was it a demon? I don't think so. You know, it could just be something negative. But to say demonic, nah, you know, I can't say that. You know, and I've had some scary shit happen. You know, everybody that's legitimate paranormal investigator has had something that shook you to your core a little bit, you know. And this definitely happened to me more than once. So I don't know, man. You know, like some people think this shit is a game, and it's not a game. You know, you can get hurt. I had a case where a child died, man. So it's not a game to me. You know, some people it might be a game too. You know, when they're doing the public, you know, these ghost hunts and all that stuff. You know, it's all fun and dandy. You know, until something follows your ass home. Now you got something in your house that you ain't never gonna get rid of. That shit's with you like luggage. You ain't never getting rid of it, man. Like you can throw as much sea salt as you want around and as much sage as you want. That shit's not going anywhere, dude. You know?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, I try to tell people, you know, this shit is not a game. You can go into these haunted places if you want. Something takes a real liking to your ass and follows you home. Your ass is in trouble, man. You might not get rid of whatever whatever it is. That's some serious stuff.
Yeah. I actually got affected. I mean, I didn't have any permanent injury or anything like that, but I had to step outside at the Old Stone Jail in Franklin, Kentucky this past year. there's a really nasty guy, nasty spirit, and they believe it's a guy that was a rapist and child molester upstairs in the Olson jail in one of the cells, and the cell was his. And this is not conjecture. This is actual historical. They know this guy existed. His name was Terry, and they believe that this is the same guy that's the nasty spirit, because he ended up getting hanged pretty much on the front lawn of the jail for his crimes, and just through evidence, AVPs and things they caught, they think they connected it to this guy that was a child molester and a predator and rapist and all this. So anyway, he's a nasty fucking spirit, and he likes to grab women inappropriately in their crotch, grab their breasts, things like that, like very inappropriate stuff, pulling hair, things like that. And they actually closed off the top for a while and didn't let anybody investigate it there because it got so bad. And some paranormal investigators came to them and said, this is what we do. As long as you tell people what they're getting into when they go investigate, they have a choice to go up there or not. It's their choice as an investigator to go up there. But anyway, we were up there. I was up there with, I think, 5 other people. And we had the Geoport going, which is the spirit box with the pedals on it. It takes out all the noise. So you just hear voices come through. And I don't put 100% stock in that thing, but I have had it say my name quite a few times, and we get, certain places we actually really get true answers out of full sentences. And the way it's sweeping through the radio stations, that's impossible. When you're just catching a radio word here and there. But anyway, I felt like something was grabbing my spine from the inside, and I could not get a full breath because I felt like something was just holding on to me from the inside up there. And I told everybody I was with, I was like, I need to go downstairs and just get myself out of space, go get grounded outside. And so I went outside for about 10 minutes, and I came back in and told them, we were done for the night. And my cousin Brian was up there with everybody, and he asked, why are you missing my cousin? And they said, these 5 people all said they heard out of the Geoport, he started it first.
Oh, wow.
A full sentence. And they said it was a man's voice that said he started it first. And I've been there quite a few times, and we don't provoke or anything, but I think he just doesn't like me because I'm a man, and I wouldn't take his shit, basically, because I'll go up there and be like, look, we ain't having none of this grabbing women shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to behave tonight. Like, if you want to interact, that's fine, but we're not having this. And I think that's what it was all about, was he started it first, was that I was telling him what he was going to do. And then I also have that picture of the green face, what looks like a green face that I think is of him. I don't know. I can't prove it, but it's an interesting picture all the same. But that's probably the most I've ever been affected. But that was pretty crazy to think that something that you can't see can make you feel that way, like you can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was pretty insane. I didn't go back in there and investigate. I haven't been back since that happened. Not because I'm not going back, just because we haven't, had the occasion. But I didn't go back in there. I went and told them, we're done up here for the night. Like, I don't want anybody else to experience that. And then come to find out, the crazy thing, my investigative partner Lee, he had something similar happen to him early in the night. And me and him hadn't talked about it because we had 2 different groups, because we were doing a public ghost hunt. And we had 2 different groups. And he had something similar. We talked at the end of the night, to kind of decompress and fill each other in. And he had something similar happen to him, and he had to step outside. So I'm definitely, the next time we're there, going to be a little more cautious of that upstairs. Not that I ever took it lightly. I've been doing this as long as you have, John, and I know there's nasty things out there, but that in recent memory, that's something that really affected me and physically affected me. You ever had anything like really physically affect you, Austin?
Yeah. I mean, really, 2 instances come to mind. Of course, Taylor Mill, where I got pushed up against the wall and I was vomiting blood for a good 20 minutes. That was probably number 1. But when you're talking about not being able to breathe, I had that when I went to Prospect Place, not the last time, but the time before, and I was there with a good friend of mine who he was just kind of interested in the paranormal and never really investigated. And when I walked down into the basement where the slaves were kept, as soon as I walk in, I just couldn't breathe. And it was like, it was just like everything was just taken out of me. It was in a weird weird way I've never had before. And I ended up collapsing on the floor trying to gasp for air, and I couldn't. And I ended up having to crawl on all fours out of the basement and into the front yard. And then I eventually got my breath back. But I mean, I still don't know what that was.
Yeah.
It was definitely something really odd. And my partner was like, well, I guess we're not going down there again. It's like, no, we're going back down right now. We're going back. But that was just really weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been touched quite a few times over the years, but nothing malevolent, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was telling earlier, John, that I think it was a kid spirit poked me in the butt cheek.
Really?
Yeah, I was the only one standing up at Thomas' house. I had my back to the hallway, and the hallway's dark, and we're all in this bedroom where supposedly this kid spirit named Sarah hangs around. And somebody was doing the SS method, and the girl that was doing it, I was the only one standing up. Everybody else was sitting down, and she'd been doing the SS method for probably 5 minutes. And she said out loud, she said, "Sit down." And about 10 seconds later, I felt like a little finger poked me in the butt cheek. So I went and sat down.
Yeah.
And then we were doing another location. This happened both times we were there. It's a rescue squad building, old rescue squad building. It was actually built on part of the Battle of Stones River battlefield in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And we were upstairs, what used to be the living quarters, because it used to be manned 24 hours, and now they use it as a training center, but it used to be manned by firefighters 24 hours. And 2 of them would sleep up there in this bedroom. And I'm about probably 5 feet from the wall, sitting in a fold-up chair. And I feel what feels like a finger. Like, I always keep my hair short on the sides and the back. I felt like a finger running up the back of my head. And automatically I was like, Lee, come over here and see if there's like a moth or something, crawling on me, or a bug. There wasn't. And then we went back, I think a month or 2 later. I don't remember how long it was in between, about a month, I think, and investigated again and had the same. I wouldn't even sit in the same spot. I had like moved the chair around more around the room, and I was still pretty far out from the wall, and the same fucking thing happened again. Wow. And then come to find out, one of the guys that used to sleep, his bed was in that corner that my back was facing. And one night he pulled his bed out from the wall, and his partner that slept in there with him, his bed was over across the room. And he was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Every time I turn over this way, I feel like somebody's running their finger up the back of my neck."
Oh, wow.
But when he moved his bed out from the wall, it didn't happen to him as often.
Oh, that's weird. Totally
Yeah.
weird.
Like, I don't know, why would a ghost do that? Like, maybe that's the only thing they could do. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things. I think there's certain things that they're able to do. Like, some are able to talk, speak very well,
yeah,
using like reverberal noises and things like that. But that's like when people get scratched and stuff. Everybody thinks it's demonic, but maybe that's the only way they're able to communicate is by scratching you. You know what I mean? So it's not demonic. It's just this is maybe the only way they can communicate. I've been scratched quite a few times and couldn't explain it, but I never thought it was demonic. Like a demon didn't jump out of the floor and say, "I scratched you."
Right.
But, I've been scratched. I got scratched on my face from like here to here in an investigation. Didn't even know. Yeah, it was bleeding, and didn't even know it happened until one of the guys with me is like, and we were having a shit ton of paranormal stuff going on, and he's like, "Dude, your face is bleeding." I'm like, "What?" And I went like this, and I'm like, "What the shit?" I didn't even know I was like, "What the hell?" And then when I did that, I was like, then my face started burning real bad, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like wiping all this blood off. I'm like, "Holy shit, I'm bleeding, dude!" Like where'd that come from? I'm like, "I don't know," because I'm a construction worker, man. I don't have nails, so and it looked like almost like a cat. Like a cat had the real sharp nails like that, like a pin went.
Wow.
Like, oh shit, man! Like it was interesting, but I wasn't like freaked out or there wasn't any demons around or anything like that, But everything's the demon shit sells, man. That's
hell yeah.
It seems like it's dying down now though.
Yeah, it's still out there. Yeah,
the
YouTubers are like, man, every case is a demon. The demon house of Billy Bob Thornton, it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Every case you're on is a demonic case, like I've yet to see one. I've been doing it for 25 years, like 25 years, dude. Like done hundreds and hundreds of cases, and I haven't seen any demons yet. You know, I've come across some weird stuff, man. But like I said, a demon, nah. I would never say that it was a demon. You know.
Yeah, I had a demonologist on the show, and I was waiting for the right person to talk about demonology, demons, that type. Because there are a lot of people out there that claim to be demonologists or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're a dime a dozen, dude.
Yeah, this dude Rich Valdez is the real deal. He's the demonologist for the old Catholic Church of the United States, and he is under James Long, Bishop James Long.
Okay, yeah.
Never heard of him.
Oh
So
yeah.
Rich is his demonologist, but Rich is also a paranormal investigator. He's been investigating for 20 some years, and he told me on the show, and you can go back and listen to this when I talked to him on the show, that he's like, in paranormal investigating, I've never come across a demon, anything I thought was demonic. And he's like, but on the other hand, being involved with the church, he's like, we get cases all the time. But he's like, people that feel like they're demonically possessed, they're not going to paranormal investigators. They're going to the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they're going to looking for help. And so if they even think that it's, something along that realm, which made a lot of sense to me. If you need your plumbing fix, you don't call an electrician.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
So if you think that something evil is attacking you, if I thought that, I go to the church and be like, hey, this is your forte, like
yeah, exactly.
And so, but he said as a paranormal investigator, he's been to Penhurst and all these big places, and he's done private investigations and things. But he said, he's like, I've never come across anything demonic. He's asshole spirits, but not anything demonic. So I found that interesting coming from a demonologist. Somebody that has been studying this shit for 9 years, and he actually works as a demonologist for the Catholic Church. Like he's the real deal. And so, but also just the way that he talked about the subject of how ridiculous it is, on the paranormal shows, and he said it pisses him off because he feels like there's some people that could probably benefit from going to the church to get help, but since the TV shows made it a big joke, they don't, and so, whatever you believe in demons or, where you think of that, whatever, I think it's, and also even he said it's through the lens of religion, it's what religion you believe in, is what you see these things through. So, in the Christian religion, it's demons. If you go like Muslim, it's jinn. The jinn are responsible for all the bad things, and that's where genies come from, the jinn. And other cultures have other things, apparently all Asian cultures, it's the grudge bitch, because she shows up in every fucking Asian video on YouTube. Paranormal video on YouTube. We were talking about that earlier. How does the grudge bitch show up in every Spanish-speaking and every Asian-speaking paranormal video on YouTube? Well, I was telling Austin, I'm like, you'll be watching the first couple minutes of it, and like weird things are happening. You're like, oh, this may be legit. And then the very last 10 seconds, the grudge bitch pops out. The bitch with the long black hair, white face, white gown. The same thing in the Spanish videos. It's the same way.
Yeah.
How does the grudge bitch show up in all these paranormal videos? And I've never seen her myself.
Yeah.
She's that prevalent. She's that prevalent.
The only thing I've had that's really, really strange is I've had a case that's had the same thing in this 2 different cases, the same figure in the same house. They've seen the same thing. And one was the Newcastle case where they seen a woman in black, and she had always had a black veil over her face, but you could never see her face. And in a case I did recently, it was the same thing. They were seeing the same exact thing. They're describing it, and me and Carl looking at each other, and I'm like, is that not the same thing they described in the Newcastle? He's like, yeah. I'm like, this is some really weird shit. And a lot of cases too, going back 20 years, we would get children, and all these children would see the same thing. And they were all different cases, all different parts of Pennsylvania, and they were all little kids, like between 5 to 10. And they would all see this figure, black figure with glowing red eyes. And, every one of them seen the same thing, described the same thing. And I'm just like, what in the hell is this shit? Like
Yeah.
these black things with glowing red eyes. And then I came across a case where I actually captured the black mist. I might have showed you that video,
Yeah.
Eric. That
Yeah.
came out of the closet that forms across the room, and they seen the same thing in that house. And the wife, the mother, and the wife of the family told me she's seen it. Um, this thing was like 7 foot tall, man. Like she was, her son was saying he was seeing it in the room, and she slept in the room with him one night. And around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, she wakes up to the room real cold, and there's the figure. It's in the room. It's
Wow.
standing at the edge of the end of the bed. She said it's like 7 foot tall, black. She said it almost looked like Bigfoot, like it was so big, but the eyes were glowing red. She said, and it was staring down at her. And she said, I was so scared that I couldn't move. She said, I'm just looking at it. It's looking at me. And she said, you know how in the video I showed you how it moves across the room and it disappears?
Yeah.
Well, this thing slowly dissipates into nothing. She said the last thing that went were the eyes. She said the eyes were just so piercing red. And then they finally just blinked out. And,
Wow.
You don't want to believe shit like this, but when you capture something on video like that I captured,
Right.
you got to believe them because
Yeah.
there it is. It's on video.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when she first told me this shit, I did not believe it whatsoever. I was like, this woman is off her goddamn rocker, man. Like, she's telling me she's seeing all this shit. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard this a million fucking times, man. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I've never seen it. And then all of a sudden, I capture it on video. It took 10 years for me to finally capture something like that on video. And when I captured it, I was just like, holy shit, what is
Yeah.
that? I'm in my dining room at like 2 in the morning watching video of this case, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like watching, I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, I'm like yelling like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, wake my wife up. She's like, what the hell are you yelling? I said, I finally captured some shit on video that I cannot explain. Like, this is
Yeah.
everything that she said. There it is. It's on video. I'm like, holy shit. It's just amazing. And I've never captured anything quite that amazing since, and that's back in 2011. I mean, I've
Yeah.
captured doors opening up on their own and things like that. And, but never nothing like that, nothing.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did this figure have any effect on anything like within the home?
Oh yeah, it made the kids sick all the time. The kids were sick like every other week. It was really weird. They went on vacation, and they said I could have the house for a week. So I set cameras up in the house for a week, investigated it for a complete week. Nothing happened when they were gone. When they were gone, I didn't have anything happen. I mean, nothing captured, nothing on video. So I left the cameras in there, and I came back, and they were back, and the sister-in-law lived with them. And the first time I met her, she was super nice. I went back the second time to get the cameras, and she totally changed, like almost like she was possessed. If you want to say, she was just weird. She got real gothy. Face was real pale looking, like she, was like a goth, like dressed up in goth, like dark clothing, and really wasn't nice to me. She was really nice the first time, but when I went back, she wasn't nice. Like she was following me around as we getting the cameras. And I'm like, get out in the basement, and I'm like, getting unhooking all the old DVR system, and she's like, when are you leaving? I'm like, well, as soon as I get done unhooking all this shit, I'm gonna leave, So she's like, she leans there, and she's like, I want you to get out of here now. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
dude, like she was ready to like fucking bite my face off or something, dude. I'm like, I'm looking at her, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, back fuck up a little bit, I'm gonna leave, like chill out, She's like, no, I want you to leave now. Like, dude, her whole personality changed in
Yeah.
a short bit of time, and it was just weird, man, because I think it was whatever was in the house was influencing her. And then it started, this case is still going on. This has been since 2011.
Mhm.
And the husband is now being influenced by a lot of shit that's going on in the house. Like, this guy was the nicest guy you ever want to meet. Now he's a raging alcoholic, been arrested. I mean, it's just a ton of shit going on in the house. The kids were always sick. Every week, the kids were sick, man. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. Like, why all this weird stuff going on in this house? That's negative too. And when they leave the house, they're great. They feel great. There's no problems.
Yeah.
They come back to the house, and it's this issue of negativity, man. Like the whole thing, they're sick. Animals die in the house. They've had a couple dogs that just died mysteriously.
Oh my God.
Really weird shit, man.
This is a thing that I love and fucking hate about the paranormal. Because what you were talking about, so my book, Taylor Mill Horror, I talk about this. And I was actually talking to a guy earlier who I'm probably going to be working on a project with here soon. So this figure that you're talking about, the first time I saw it was at a friend's house. Didn't know anything about it, but I ended up encountering it there. And after that, it started hanging around. And I would go over to friends' houses, and then within a couple of days, they would hit me up like, what the fuck's going on in my house? And they would describe the same type of entity. So a long time goes by, and we get this investigation in Taylor Mill, Kentucky. And he describes the same figure there. And I end up seeing it there. My partner ended up seeing it there. But once again, it influenced him. It turned him into an asshole. Really nice guy. Turned him into a raging alcoholic. Killed his dog.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, all kinds of insane stuff. And the big connecting thing is that every single person who's seen it, they've gotten ill. And on top of that, it tried to kill their animals.
Wow. Holy
my
shit.
best friend, he had this huge, I don't even know how to describe it. It was basically wall art. This thing had to weigh 50 pounds easily. It literally lifted off the wall, flew across the room, and landed on top of his small dog. And my other friend, who lives a couple hours away from me, I stayed there for one night, and his cats were getting thrown against the wall by nothing.
Holy shit.
Then when we investigated this place in Taylor Mill, I have video of a dog getting thrown down a flight of stairs. And, but yeah, I have a picture of this figure. The fact that I just talked about the same damn thing, like it was like 3 hours prior to this is insane.
Pretty gave me goosebumps, dude. That's crazy.
Dude, you should imagine when I heard you talking. I'm like,
shit.
Yeah, like literally on everything you said. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah, it's just, man, I tell you, that house, I wouldn't fucking live in it. Like, I've had so much shit happen in there. I'm sitting, I want to test the validity of this shit, so I'm sitting in a chair in the closet where I've seen it come out of there. I'm sitting in the closet like this, and I'm like, didn't want to do it, but I was like, as an investigator, you gotta face the shit, so here I am sitting in there in the dark by myself. Everybody else is downstairs. I'm like, all right, you fucker, here I am. I'm by myself. Come on, bring it. I want to experience this shit. All of a sudden, man, it felt like someone took a thumb and jammed it right in the middle of my fucking back, dude. I jumped out of that chair. And when I jumped out of the chair, I'm standing there. It yanked on my shorts at the same time. I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, definitely pulled on my shorts. And I had a recorder going, and you hear this creepy ass voice like, you would know. I was like, man, it pulled on my shorts, and it's like, you would know. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, what the fuck is in this house, man?
I'll be right back. We've been on streaming for a while. I have to go use the bathroom.
Oh, really?
We got you.
Dude, I cannot believe you had the same experience. It's nuts.
Yeah, and I can't believe that I literally was just talking about this like 3-4 hours ago with someone.
It's insane, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. But like I said, I've got a picture of it because one night I used to see this thing when I tried to sleep, and it became kind of a common thing. And I remember one day I woke up, my partner texted me. He was like, "Dude, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" And he was like, "Because of what happened last night." I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "You need to look at your text messages." And I looked at my text messages, and I saw our conversation, and then I saw the picture that I took of this figure standing right next to my bed. And the whole time I thought this was all a dream, like, because I had woken up, it had happened. I was still kind of like in that in between, being awake and being
Shit.
asleep state. And then I fell right back to sleep afterwards somehow. So the next day reality set in, and I was like, oh my God, this actually happened. Like this
Holy
wasn't just a
shit.
dream. Like, but yeah, man, I mean that went on for years. And yeah, it's just wild because
Yeah.
you hear about this same entity so many different places.
Yeah, and it's
And
not the first time that I've come across it in cases, man. It's just like, and now you're talking about it too, and I'm just like, what are the coincidences of shit? You know what I mean? It's just
right,
like it's amazing. What the hell is it? That's the thing.
exactly.
What is this black thing with red eyes, and it transforms into all different shit. And it's not like just it's that one figure. Like this thing that was in this house would show up looking like a little kid. The big figure, it would show up in a mist, and that's what I captured. It was kind of like a mist, that forms. I have to send you the video of it, but it's pretty amazing, man. And it goes on for like 15 minutes of it coming in and out of a closet, appearing on one side of the room, going across the room, like dipping down to the
Mhm.
floor, getting big and then disappearing. Most amazing video I've ever seen in my life and experienced it. So it's just like,
Right.
holy shit, man, what is this stuff? I always used to say this stuff is like supernatural, but it's really a natural part of this world. You know what I mean? Like we think it's unnatural, but this stuff's been here long before us, man.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Long, long before us. We just don't understand it. So
yeah.
we call it, paranormal and supernatural, but it's really a natural part of this world. It's been here way, way before us.
That's a
So
good point.
just understanding it, on a level of our thinking, we're just not able to understand it. So we call it supernatural or paranormal, but really it's natural, man. This shit is natural part of our existence, man. It
Hmm.
really is. I used to think, it's not normal, but it is. It's really normal, man, because you come across it a lot. Like for 25 years, I've experienced the phenomena. Like it's here. It's been here way longer than us. So
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's going to be here way longer after we're gone.
Yeah,
So but what is it? You know, just me and you talking about that situation, like it's the same thing. You
yeah,
know what I mean? It's the same exact thing. It's influencing the people in the home the same way. It's creepy how it happens too, man. Like it turned to get the husband into a raging alcoholic, man. Like
yeah,
it's his whole personality, everything
yeah,
about him. And the sister-in-law too. And when she moved out, she totally changed.
yeah. See, that's
Yeah.
what this guy told me about. They would go and they would get hotel rooms like at least a couple of times every month because when they got out of there, everything was fine. Everyone was normal. He wasn't a dick anymore. He didn't drink. He was sober. Everything was good. So they would save up money every month to go to a hotel just to kind of recharge and be a family for just a day or two,
And he was in the hospital, almost died.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 That's what happened to this woman's kids. They were in the hospital. They were at Hershey Medical Center like every other week, man. Like all different kind of illnesses and almost like it was like draining
Their
their
life force.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
like their immune
Yeah.
systems and shit, and where they can
Yeah.
couldn't fight off shit.
Yeah.
It was strange, man. Like I had a couple of things happen that were kind of like almost like biblical in the home. Like it said things that
Yeah.
were biblical, and it was freaky as shit. I was walking into one of the rooms with another investigator, and I heard a voice say, "I thirst." Like just it's like I thirst, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Dude, did you just say say something. He's like, no, why? I was like, you didn't hear that voice. He's like, I didn't hear shit. I was like, you didn't hear a voice just say, I thirst. And he's like, no, but I captured it on the recorder and I played it back. And I was like, you didn't say that. He goes, no. I was like, that is creepy, man. He's like, why? I was like, because it's biblical. He goes, what do you mean? I was like, I said, you ever read the Bible? He's like, no. I was like, I said, Jesus said that on the cross when he was dying, man. He's like, well, I said, yeah. He said, I thirst. And he's like, no way. I was like, yeah, dude, that shit is biblical. I was like, that's crazy. And it's creepy on top of it, you know?
Yeah.
That this
Yeah.
say that.
One of the things I've been talking about here lately with quite a few guests is that, you know, we think with all of our technology and education and shit that we look back in history and, oh, those poor Egyptians, they were stupid people. Well, they built a fucking big ass pyramid, didn't they? They built a Sphinx and all these crazy statues and stuff. But we just think of them as those stupid poor people. No, they have the same brains we do. They have the same intellect that we have. They have the same curiosity. They have the same want to know how to do things and build things and experiment. So why would they just have different type of technology? But also, I think they had a better grasp on the paranormal world, as we call it. And even the Native Americans, even like, they just accepted this as part of our world.
Yeah.
You know, the Cherokee with Bigfoot, they didn't fuck with him. He didn't fuck with them. But they acknowledged that he was just a being, a real being, you know. And little people are like ubiquitous throughout different old cultures and especially with Native and indigenous people. And it was just a fact of life. And it still is. If you go like I was talking about my buddies from Falling Out Radio earlier, Sadell and Marcus, they were raised on the reservation, and they're going to kill me because I don't know what tribe. They're out in Montana, out in that area, and they talked about their tribe's medicine, and you can either do good medicine or bad medicine, and it's basically magic, and making deals with these little people that will do your bidding and doing all this crazy shit, but that in their culture, and it's not just in their culture, they just believe that's how they're raised, that this shit is real. And this is just part of our world that we can't see. And I think they have it more figured out than we do. And we think, you know, oh, we have our world figured out. No, we don't. We've forgotten shit's been forgotten in history more than we will ever know about technology and all this other stuff that they have had for thousands of years and things they know how to do. But like, you know, like I'm saying, the connection to the spirit world, I think now we have a bigger disconnect with the general public because we have cell phones and computers and things that disconnect us from nature. And I think that's one reason why they were so connected to the spiritual world, because they were connected to nature and they paid attention to things going on that were out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they were just like, oh, they're worshiping star people because they didn't understand astronomy. No, I think they understood that those were stars. You know, I think they understood all that. And we just think that, oh, those stupid poor people, you know.
Yeah, they weren't dumb at all, man. I mean, just the pyramids themselves proved that they had a really vast technology of science and mathematics, man.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, if they would have been just a quarter of an inch off building the pyramids, the whole pyramids would have been crooked. They would have been crooked, just a quarter of an inch. By the time they get to the top, they would have been feet out. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you know how much mathematics that takes to do that?
Right.
Holy shit, man. Like, engineers do that kind of shit with, like, trigonometry and things like that, build bridges and things like that. Dude, that shit is amazing how they did that. It's truly amazing.
Well, even like back in the Egyptian times, even with like modern medicine stuff, they knew enough about the human body and infections and things that they knew if they took a piece of raw meat and put it on a wound, that the wound wouldn't get infected. Because the bacteria and the viruses and parasites and things would rather eat the dead meat than they would your meat, because your meat's living and things are fighting against it within your body, right? Within that wound. So all of that stuff will go out to the piece of raw meat because guess what? It's already dead.
Yep.
And so they knew shit like that, you know, and they use leeches to help people with blood poisoning and things, and you know,
circulation too.
Yeah, and they use all these things that we still, in one way or the other, we still use in modern day medicine. And then you also, if you look at like places like Machu Picchu and some of those places, you can't even get a piece of paper in between the stones because they're so perfect, interlocking. Some of them, like a puzzle piece, interlocking. They're so well made and well engineered that, for one, they've lasted thousands of years, and two, like I said, the tolerances, we can't even do that today to get those type of tolerances for a flat surface to fit together that good. Nikola Tesla, I think he was onto something, and I think he's a completely different subject. Nikola Tesla is, but
oh my god,
I was watching a documentary about him the other day where some of his trunks were missing, and they believe that a lot of his inventions and technology that the government, U.S. government, has, because when he died, they come in and took like half the trunks that he had full of documents and experiments and things, and there's only like 32 remaining, and he had something like, I don't know, 50 or 60 trunks full of information. And that Nikola Tesla definitely was connected in a way that very few people are, with understanding the world and the way it works, and nature and electricity and things. It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, man. I think a lot of the technology we have today is all just alien technology, man. I don't think, human beings are smart enough to create some of this shit, for 100% or not, so a lot of this stuff has been reverse engineered by aliens and shit like that, for sure. I mean, we're not alone. To think we're alone in the universe, you got to be out of your mind.
Yeah. Well, if you look
how
at
big the universe is.
Right. And also, if you look at the leap in technology that we had after Roswell, Roswell incident supposedly happened. We have this giant leap in technology, and we leaped in 100 years from Roswell in the 1900s to 2000. In that 100 years, we had more progress in technology than we had in the past 1,000 years. How does that happen without some sort of help? And there wasn't no big giant breakthrough, right?
No.
But all of a sudden we have microchips and we have microwaves. I mean, all the stuff state of the art, like propulsion systems, jet propulsion systems, and things like that. And all this crazy stuff that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, have you guys ever watched that documentary on Bob Lazar?
Mm-hmm.
That is a great documentary, man. He describes a lot of really cool shit about Area 51 and reverse engineering and the technology, and how these crafts basically distort time and space and matter and everything. They make their own gravity. And that's why they're able to travel so fast and throughout the universe, is because they distort time and space, man, with the gravity machine. It propels the craft. And he had said something in the video which was cool, because he said, I remember when it happened in the 80s, he talked about an element called element 115, which fuels the crafts. And everybody said he was full of shit.
Yeah.
And guess what? He wasn't full of shit. There is an element 115. And he said that way back then, that there was a element 115 that fueled these crafts. And everybody said he was full of shit, that didn't exist. Well, guess what? It exists. And, now you go online and they talk about it, you know what I mean? So it was all just a plot to kind of discredit the guy. Like I said, they said he never worked at Los Alamos, and he did. There was pictures of him at Los Alamos. They tried to totally wipe out his whole existence, to discredit him. And he was there, and he blew their shit out of the water, and they tried to erase who he was,
Well, like here lately with David Grush coming up against with Congress, they've tried to do some of the similar things to him, not erase his past or who he is or his credentials, but they try to say, oh, he's a crazy man. He's been treated for PTSD, because he was alcoholic and he's using that for PTSD, and they've tried to discredit him that way, and it hasn't worked for him this time. Like, nobody's allowed them to discredit him, and because, for one, I think with George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell coming out and kind of vetting him first and then bringing him to Congress, especially in the UFO community, the extraterrestrial community, I think they have a huge place right now because they do vet the people, and they do make sure that they're not full of shit and they're not crazy tinfoil hat wearing, conspiracy theory people that are legit. And this dude, David Grush, he was contracted by the government to look at the black budgets and see where the money was going. And so he got to see behind the curtain, of all these private companies that would get billions of our tax money to do these crazy experiments on alien technology and things. And one of his things that he said he came forward was because it scared him that private companies have some of this technology in their own hands and they're not controlled by our government because they get these black budget money that nobody knows where it's going and there's no oversight. And they have, he's concerned because some of the weapons and propulsion systems they have, that they could go essentially develop them and a corporation could declare war on a country on its own without us having anything to do with it. Yeah. And that's what he's concerned with, is that these private companies having this technology that he says that they have human biologics. They have biologics as well, which means bodies or pieces of bodies, some kind of alien anatomy would be, he couldn't elaborate more because it was, I guess, classified shit. But yeah, I think it's crazy that and we briefly talked about it earlier, me and Austin, about how our society was just like, okay, fucking aliens do this, who cares? You're having these historic government hearings and things, and people coming out who would know, Lou Elizondo and people like him who are disclosing this shit, and whistleblowers, and the general public's just like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, all the years they've been hiding the shit, and it's just like people already know the shit that's been here, man. They know it. They've been hiding it for years, man. Like, I guess they were afraid that people were going to have a mass hysteria if they thought UFOs were coming to the planet. But everybody with cell phones now, you can't discredit it now. It's just too much. Just like Bigfoot and everything else. Like, people have captured these things on video, man. Like all over the country, all over the world. So do they exist? Yeah, of course they do. And just haven't got a body yet. So
right. And because of all the videos, there's lots of fake shit out there.
Oh yeah.
In general, I mean, there's lots of fake shit. Anything in the paranormal, even with Bigfoot, aliens, and things. But there's so many videos out there that it can't all be bullshit. Some of those people are credible. Some of those people have everything to lose and nothing to gain by coming forward with their stories and shit. Especially with Bigfoot and UFOs. Having a ghost experience is not that big a deal, but you're talking about people that could, lose their jobs and things because they're coming to think, well, you're fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because you had a Bigfoot experience,
Yeah.
And so, you have these people, especially with UFOs and people have experiences with them. They don't have anything to gain. There's all these stories out there over the past 100 years, especially in the United States, of all these things happening. And then in other countries, there's already been disclosure. Brazil's been really open about their UFO encounters, with their government's been really open with it since the 80s. And so, it's important for America, for the United States, our government to come out and say, yeah, they exist for disclosure. But you've had all these other countries that have admitted that they've had dealings with UFOs for years, not necessarily dealings, but I'm saying they've had incidents over cities and things that the government's been involved with for years. But yeah, I guess I'm kind of nonchalant about it because I've always, since I was a kid, I was just like, yeah, I'm like you, John. I'm just like, yeah, it makes sense they're here. Like, why wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
Why there's this giant universe. Yeah. Why wouldn't they exist?
Yeah. If I wasn't a kid, I might have never even got into, doing this shit, paranormal stuff or anything. That kind of propelled me into doing this. I mean, I'm pretty much into all of it. I like the UFOs. I like the cryptids, the Bigfoot. I love all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, my forte is doing, paranormal investigations, but I really love all of it. I think it's all intertwined. You know what I mean? Like, all of it is a part of this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
These things have been coming here for thousands of years, so millions of years probably, so as long as the planet's been around, these UFOs have probably been visiting this planet. So,
yeah.
But to think that we're alone, come on,
Yeah.
It's just like, we're here. There's definitely probably millions of other planets just like this one. We We just can't make it there. Yeah, we're not that technologically advanced yet.
I think it's actually Washington State or Oregon that has a law that's legal to hunt Bigfoot.
Yeah, or yeah,
Is it Oregon?
Canada too. I think.
I think Canada.
Yeah, that guy Todd Standing. I think he went to the Canadian government and they put some kind of law in effect where you can't kill a Bigfoot either. That's what's going to come down to somebody getting a Bigfoot body, you know.
There's an interesting story that came out here lately. This lady, I need to look it up and dive more into it, but she came out and told a story of her grandfather.
Yeah.
She said that he would tell her stories when she was younger about him shooting a Bigfoot.
Really?
He shot and killed one, what he thought was a juvenile. And the reason that he never told anybody or ever come out with it, he's dead now. So she promised him that she would not put the story out there. Because she said he was a farmer, like hardworking farmer, like, you know, very earthly type guy. But he buried it because he told her that he felt guilty, like he had shot a human.
Wow.
Like that's the type of guilt and regret that he had. And so he buried it. And there was something about, if I remember it correctly, something about that the body ended up disappearing from where he buried it, and he thinks that he shot a juvenile, and that the other Bigfoot part of the family came and took it away, like dug it up and took it away. But yeah, she said her grandfather told her that story quite a few times and never deviated from it, so she had no reason not to believe him, because she said he wasn't that type of person, just make up shit, you know.
Yeah,
a very salt of the earth type, you know, respectable guy. And but yeah, the reason that he never told anybody, or the body never, you know, he never showed anybody or told anybody about it, was because he felt guilty. Because he said when he shot it, when he looked into its eyes, it was like he shot a human.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he had other dealings with them too that he told her stories about. After that, like he tried to make amends with them because he felt so bad about killing the juvenile.
Yeah, that'll probably fuck with your mind a little bit. You know, killing something that looks like us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just kind of humanoid, and you know, yeah, it probably messes your mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With me, I mean, just talking to Austin about the shit he experienced is messing with my mind, dude. I'm freaked out a little bit, dude. I'm just like, fucking freaky, dude.
He's the most haunted person I know, sir.
God damn, dude. I'm like, what the hell? I couldn't believe he said that. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It is the same, dude, right down to everything. Oh, like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Yeah, you need to check out the book, his book that he wrote about it, Paranormal Horror. Yeah, it's still on Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Taylor Mill Horror.
Taylor Mill Horror. Okay. Yeah, I gotta check that out, man, because that is exactly the same shit.
Do you still have any videos up, Austin? Those videos that you had up?
The ones on TikTok, yeah.
They're still on TikTok.
Yeah.
He's got there's some crazy videos. That was when y'all went back to talk to the guy, right? Yeah. They went back to the guy that almost died, the homeowner that almost died. He agreed to come back to the house for them to interview him. And there's fucking shit moving right in front of them.
Oh, wow.
Crazy shit. He's got a few videos on TikTok that's pretty crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, you know, that case we did in Newcastle was fucking freaky as shit like that, man. But that little girl dying, and that shit changed my life forever, man. Like it's still, man, like it's something I'll live with the rest of my life. But it's just like this the phenomena that happened in there, it's still happening. Like, and we're still dealing with it, like all these years. That's since 2014. And I don't know how they lived there. I love the family like my own, but how they live there, I don't know how to do it, man. Like,
right.
Yeah. I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't. Not
well, and like me and you've talked about it a couple of times when we talked about that story. Yeah, you could explain it that it's not paranormal, but all of it points, and even the family, even her family's like, no, it all adds up. Like, if you look at all the facts and the surrounding shit that's going on, no, it adds up to that. Like, it's not jumping to conclusions, it's not conjecture, we're not sitting here, like, it really really,
Oh yeah,
like it just
100%.
all the evidence out there. Yeah, and you can't ever say, yeah, that it, that's what happened to her. But when you look at all the evidence, yeah, it
Yeah,
definitely,
man. I mean, it was messing with her the most. Then we get the voice in the camera saying, "I'll kill his kids."
yeah,
And then the shit that happened to me afterwards, and me and Carl, he was pulled back in the chair. Carl's pretty big guy, man, 6'2", probably 280. It pulled him back in the chair away from the table, and then the freaky part. This is probably one of the freakiest things that ever happened to me. Was I was taking a piss, and I had the bathroom door shut, man. I'm just like
Every investigator has a piss story.
It was just freaky, man. Like I'm taking a piss, and I just feel all this air come up behind me, and I'm like turning around. I'm like, that was weird, I'm like, okay, so I'm just continuing, and all of a sudden, man, I hear this fucking exorcist kind of creepy, high pitched voice in my ear, and it says, "There are many, but I am one." Man, I pissed on the floor, the shit, on myself, the wall, the back of the toilet. Dude, I ran out of that bathroom with my junk in my hand. I think I jumped down like 8 steps, like pulling my shit up to get out the door. I went outside. I sat outside for like, I don't know, 20 minutes. I didn't even tell. I ran by the guys, dude. Like they were in the dining room. I went right by them. They're like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I got to make a call." I sat out in my car for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, man. And they
that's not the only piss story that you have either. Because the unholy structure house, didn't something happen in the unholy structure house where you're pissing?
Same thing, dude. Same shit. It was weird, man. Like, well, what the fuck is the deal with the bathroom, dude? I'm like, taking a piss. Like, leave me alone, dude. If you want to do something to me, like, dude, I guess that's your most vulnerable time is when you're dude. And that's what would creep me out was like that voice was just eerily creepy as shit. It was.
What was the case that someone was written? What was the case someone was written on your car window?
That was it. Yeah, that was
case?
the next day after that. I come outside. Yeah. We were in a hotel, and I came outside. We were loading up, and I look on the back of the window and the dirt in the window, and it said "Go home," but the E, it was almost like someone was having a hard time writing it. Like it was all gibbery looking, and the E was kind of like Celtic or something. It was like backwards and came up like a point, like it was just weird as shit. But instantly I thought it was Carl because me and Carl was fucking around with each other, and I'm just like, it was Carl, so he comes out. I was like, yeah, I like the little bullshit you put on the back of the window there. He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, you wrote that go home bullshit on the window, dude. I was like, I already told you I was freaked out, man, with the shit that happened in there. He's like, I didn't write that. I was like, you're full of shit. Like we were arguing out in the parking lot. I was like, you wrote that. He goes, dude, I didn't write that, man. I'm serious. I didn't write that at all. He goes, are you shitting? I said, you're not shitting me. He's like, nah, dude, I didn't write that, man. He's like, I'm freaked out a little bit. I'm like, you're freaked out, dude. I said, I was taking a piss and this shit came up on me in the bathroom, dude. Like, I'm freaked out.
And it wrote it on my car, not yours.
Yeah.
Right.
We had weird shit happen ever since then in our homes, dude. Both of us, his house and mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sit here knocking on the fucking doors, knocking on the windows. I'm in the bedroom. Me and my wife were sleeping one time. My daughter was it was weird because the girl Lydia that passed, she was the same age as my daughter. And my daughter was spending the night at a friend's house. It was just me and my wife from home. It's like 1:30 in the morning, something like that. And dude, we're out. And all of a sudden I hear like 3 knocks on the bedroom door. And I always sleep with the bedroom door shut. Mm-hmm. I set up. I'm like, my wife goes, holy shit, there's somebody in the house, right? I'm like, oh shit. My dog's growling. I'm like, my dog heard it. She heard it. I heard it. I'm like, oh shit, someone's in the house. So I reach over. I got a gun, so I grabbed the gun. I'm like, well, I'm probably gonna have to shoot somebody. So I I'm like, the dogs. I said, fuck it, I'll let the dog out first. If they shoot him, they're gonna shoot the dog first. I was like, go get him, dude. I'll let him out. He takes off. I'm searching the house. There's nobody there, man. Front door is locked. Everything's locked. I come back upstairs. I mean, I checked everything: closets, basement, anywhere where someone could be. I checked. There's nobody there. I come back up. Wife's like, everything's good. I'm like, everything's locked, man. She's like, I told you don't bring that stupid shit home. I'm like, this is the risk you take, doing this shit.
Yeah.
And then Carl started seeing shit in his house, this dark figure and shit opening up on its own stuff. Yeah, just a lot of weird shit, man. Like this stuff, you never know what you're gonna get into. This stuff can follow you, man. Like it will follow your ass. It's happening. Like, and that's what people do this shit for fun. It's not going to be fun when something follows you home and you can't get rid of it, man.
I've had crazy shit happen on investigations over the years, but there's more shit that happens in my own house on a regular fucking basis than ever happens on investigation. And the craziest shit, and I just need to set up cameras 24/7, and people wouldn't believe the shit. I moved offices here not so long ago from one bedroom. This is actually an office because it doesn't have a closet. But I moved out of the bedroom, and this door to this room, I sat in my kitchen. I was on the computer at my kitchen table one night, and I sat and watched this door open. And I'm like, okay, we live in an old house, foot and latch. The doors aren't square. It'll open on its own. If you don't, it'll open all the way if you don't close it all the way. But then I watched the motherfucker shut. And I'm sitting staring, not in the corner of my eye, I'm staring at it, and I'm giving commentary to my husband and my best friend who were in the living room at the time. And they're like, no way. And then they heard it shut and they come running in the kitchen. I'm like, I told you the fucking thing was shutting by itself. I just fucking watched it.
Yeah. If it's out of plumb, it's going to open by itself, but it ain't going to shut.
It ain't closing. No.
Yeah. It ain't going to happen.
And knocks on the wall.
The knocking's weird, ain't it? It's just weird, dude. I've had it happen in here. And it's always 3 knocks, dude.
Yep.
Always 3.
Yep.
Why? Why 3? I do not know.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that freaked me out the most when I was younger. Is I had the 3 knocks on, but it was coming from, if it makes sense, sound like it was coming from the outside of the window, right? So it wasn't directly there. But the problem is that I'm on the 2nd floor. There's no way. There's no way.
Salem's Lot shit,
dude. It was happening. Yeah. It happened here, dude. Like it was knocking on the windows, and I'm like, fuck is out there, dude? There's no, you know what I mean? Like the storm door, the windows. It's just weird shit, man. And it's always 3.
Yep.
Always.
One night, I was sitting in bed watching TV one night, and I heard it, and it was coming from the wall that our bedroom shared with another bedroom. We since knocked that wall out and made a big master suite. But anyway, I was sitting in the bed, just me and my husband, and all of our dogs sleep in our bedroom. So there's nobody wandering around. I have insomnia, sitting out at various times of the night. And I hear the on the fucking wall. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I told Roger the next day, I'm like, I heard 3 knocks on the wall last night. Like, to check and see if there's anything in the attic. Like animals or something. You never know. And no, and there ain't nothing in our attic. And so then about a week later, we're both sitting up watching TV. I'm like, you hear that shit? He's like, yeah. I'm like, that's what the fuck I heard the other night. And I went directly into that bedroom. I came out of our room, went in that bedroom, and there's nothing in there. At the time, we had a bar in there, and that was kind of our hangout room. It was like, we called it the bar room. The computer's in there. We had friends over, and we had a bar with a mini fridge and shit, and we played music, hang out in there. And there's nothing fucking in there to knock.
Yeah.
And that was the closest interval that had ever happened. Now it occasionally happens. But when we first got together, me and my husband together 18 years. And when we first got together, he didn't believe in none of this shit. None of it. He thought I was crazy. So I slowly, over time, kind of looped him into all the craziness that my haunted life has been,
Yep.
And at first he's like, whatever, you're just weird, And, but now, the longer we've been together, the more he experiences. And so it started out with, I told him we had a resident ghost that followed me home when I was a teenager. And he's like, whatever, I believe in paranormal. So until our bed started shaking at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, like somebody had their hands on the end of the bed shaking it, and it would wake us up every night. And I'm like, you believe in this fucking shit now? Because I'm not shaking the bed. You're sitting here looking at me while the bed's shaking. We're like, fuck. You know? And finally, we had to come to Jesus meeting with it and was like, look, I don't know how to get rid of you, but if you don't stop waking us up like this, we're going to find a way to get rid of you. Mm-hmm. And we can cohabitate. Just leave us fuck alone. And it's worked. You know, we've never had the bed shake again, but that shit happened probably 10 times before we got it to stop of waking up the bed shaking. And I say 3 a.m. I don't believe in the witching hour bullshit. The paranormal happens day or night. It doesn't have to be 3 o'clock in the fucking morning for anything paranormal to happen. It just happened to be around 3-ish in the morning every time it happened. And but yeah, that's some crazy shit. Your fucking whole bed shaking. I'm talking like the old motel bed you put a quarter in shaking.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm not slight vibration. I'm talking about wake you up shaking.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and shit happens all the time. Shit happens to Austin all the time too. I think I say he's the most haunted person I know, but we're probably equally haunted.
Yeah. I mean, hell, within like 3 hours of being at Eric's house, I see his ghost dog walk by us, and he was like, "Oh, you saw my dog?" And I'm like, "Did we both just see that?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. He just hangs out sometimes." Like literally, like maybe 6 feet in front of us, this thing just walks by.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
You got to be kidding me.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, and my buddy Caleb from Yin and Yang Paranormal, who's an investigator also, he moved in with us, and which he's an investigator, so you know it's like whatever. But he's seen the ghost dog, and he sees the resident spirit all the time. You'll just see him in like flashes, like you won't rarely. I've only seen him dead on once or twice, and it's one of those things like he's gone before I can even get the words out of my mouth. Like, who the fuck are you while you're in my house? You know, type of shit.
Yeah.
You know, he's there and gone. But it's one of those things where I'm doing something, I look up and blam, there's a man standing there, and then you know he's just gone before you even realize what's happening. But even Roger will see him. Roger be getting ready in the morning to go to work in the bathroom. We have this giant mirror, and we have a huge bathroom. And we have this giant mirror in there, and Roger will see him like a shadow behind him darting off. But the one thing that we've told him is like, look, don't pop up behind me in the mirror because I ain't into this horror movie shit. We ain't having that. That just startles people.
Yeah.
If you're gonna show yourself straight in front of me, type shit. You know, I don't mind that. Whatever. And but yeah, the mirror shit. Just don't pop up behind me. But there's been a couple times before we changed our whole house around. The old bathroom, the mirror, you could actually see one of the bedroom doors in the bathroom when you're looking in the mirror. And one night I was in there brushing my teeth, and the door was shut, and it's a white door. And in the mirror, I just watched this black, kind of misty, not necessarily like a human form, but not the size of a human, just kind of come through the door. And then it stops for a second, like, shit, I've been caught, and goes down the hallway real quick.
Oh, shit.
Because he's like, shit, I did the one thing they don't want me to do. Like, you know.
Right.
But he doesn't bother anything. He doesn't scare me. He doesn't bother anything. I'll be laying in bed at night now, and we keep our stove light on as a night light in our kitchen. And I can see the light under our bedroom door, and I'll see, you know, shadows. All of our dogs sleep in our bedroom. So, and if Caleb gets up, he's on the opposite side of the house. I can hear him walking across the house, but I'll see what looks like somebody walking in front of the door, and I'll hear cabinet doors open and close. I don't know what the fuck they're doing in the cabinets, but you know, whatever floats your boat.
Getting a drink or something early in the morning or some shit. I'm thirsty.
Yeah. And then I had one of the weirdest things I've ever had happen in my own house. If I'm sitting in on the couch in our living room, I can see straight out our back door because it has full glass, and we have a big covered porch out there, and we have Edison lights that are on they come on when it gets dark, so it's all lit up back there. Well, I watch this fucking ball of light about this big around just hover across the bottom of the door. And I jumped up and went out there like, is somebody flying a fucking drone? Because that's what it looked like. And I thought it was that's the way it kind of hovered and moved real slow. It was like somebody was flying a drone with a light on it. And there's nothing out there. And my dogs were all out there, and they weren't barking or anything. If it was a drone, they would have been flipping out. Because we have a 6-foot privacy fence, and so, you know, a fucking squirrel farts and they flip out, you know. So, but that was just weird. But it was a fucking orb, and I don't know what the hell it was, but a ball of light, white light, like a flashlight almost.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? And it was on the outside of the glass. Like, I could tell depth-wise that it was outside.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, what the fuck?
I've seen that before. Looks just like a flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen it was crazy. It was, matter of fact, it was in the unholy structure house. I had a couple people in there with me, and dude, they seen it first. I didn't even notice it at first, and they were like, "What's that light down there in the end of the hallway?" And I'm like, "What light?" And they're like, "That light in the middle of the hallway." And I'm like, "Well, what the hell that is?" It was maybe about the size of maybe like a hard ball, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And like I bent over, kind of like trying to focus in on it, and it went from like this big to like this big, like the size of a basketball. And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And then it just went like almost like some, those flashlights you turn and they get real big. That's kind of what it looked like, And I'm like, that's somebody fucking with me or something, man. So I went down there and I'm like tearing the place apart, like thinking there's someone there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nobody there, man. I'm like, I can't explain that, dude. Like where that light came from, how it got that big, and then just went bad. It was weird, man. That was a strange house, dude. Like I don't know how anybody. I mean, it's a great house for like people like us that want to go in and research paranormal phenomena, but to live there constantly and wake up to this kind of shit in your room, and freaky, man. Totally. Like waking up and there's like green half naked woman standing in the fucking room, and you're just like, all right, that's
where do I sign up for this?
There's a naked half green lady standing there, like from the waist up. She's got no clothes on. She's green, like it just weird shit like that, man. Like a dog, a black dog, like a wolf looking dog, and it just so much shit going on, and it's fucking crazy, man.
Me and Eric have had this conversation about the black wolf dog,
dude. I did a case
at this property.
I did a fucking
followed
case.
The other places. Oh man,
dude, it happened to us 3 times in 3 different cases. A fucking black dog, dude. And I did a case. A guy owned a fucking wolf, a black wolf, right? So we're doing an investigation. Now, I didn't tell anybody the guy owned a black wolf. The wolf was dead. It died. But they said they were seeing it in the house, right? So I'm like, okay. The guy was a Vietnam vet. I'm thinking he's fucking shell-shocked or something. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, okay, man. So, I'm sitting there, and my buddy's a total animal lover. He loves fucking dogs, So he's sitting in a chair, and he goes, holy shit. I'm like, what? He goes, I don't know what the fuck that was, man. It was something big, like a big ass dog just rubbed up against my leg. I'm like,
wow.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, right. He goes, I'm not fucking shitty, man. Do they own a dog in here or something? I'm like, no, dude, but they did own a wolf and it's dead. He goes, get the fuck out of here. He said, it was big, dude. It was big. He said, it rubbed up against my leg, man. I'm like, holy shit. Dude, I've seen that thing like 3 different cases that we had.
Yeah.
And one recently in the last year, we've seen it. Yeah. In the woods, we seen it. It was a house in the woods, and fucking Tom sees it out on the trail. It's out there. Like it was leading him away from the house too. It's fucking totally weird, man. Why are we having all this similar shit? It's kind of weird.
I wonder. Yeah. I wonder with the black dog stuff, because it's a whole phenomenon of itself. Like truck drivers and people like that, black dog phenomenon. But I wonder with the black dogs and with like the shadow person with the red eyes, I wonder if that's like those are elemental spirits. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what they are,
like
man.
Never living. They've always been here, and that's why people see the same thing, because they appear to people in the same ways, even though they might be different spirits.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's like they're the same class or whatever you want to call them, but it's different.
Yeah.
All the kids, that's like people seeing the Hat Man.
Yeah, the Hat Man. Yeah, the Hat Man phenomena. Yeah. But all the kids that I dealt with that seen it, they all seen it the same way coming out of the closet. Every one of them, it was like coming out of the closet. And you hear one kid say, man, maybe it's the act of imagination. But then another kid says it. Then another kid says it. Then another kid says it. You're like, this is fucking a real phenomenon.
That was part of the conversation I was having today, because the daughter in that home, the little girl, she said that the monster would come out of her closet at night.
Why is it always fucking closet?
That is a wonderful question.
Weird. Yeah. I mean, you hear lots of things with closets. Like, I've done private investigations where the shit's centered around the closet. Yeah. Not even necessarily the kids' room, but just a closet in general. We built a walk-in closet when we did our new master suite, and we have motion lights in there. They're can lights, but they're motion sensor. And so when you walk in, the lights turn on. And the fucking things are always coming on by themselves. And I'm always hearing something mill about in our damn closet. And I can see it under the door when the lights come on. And it's a bifold door. It stays shut. So it's not like I'm setting them off.
Yeah.
By sitting in bed, And the fucking door I can reach out and almost touch it because it's right beside my side of the bed. Of course, the creepy shit's happening on my side of the bed. But yeah, the fucking lights come on and I can hear something in the closet. Even when I'm in our bathroom, because our bathroom shares the wall with the closet on one side, I'll hear shit banging and knocking around on the wall. Not the 3 knocks, but like, something banging into the wall.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What is it with closets? That's just weird.
It's weird, man. Austin, do you ever get your name called a lot in investigations?
Yes. Well, it's weird.
Me too.
So I have that too.
It's like every investigation, I either get called by name or they refer to me as Angel, as like some sort of angel, which I never understood that either. And it happened again at Two Rivers, and never understood that one. But it's one or the other.
Yeah, it happens to me a lot in almost every case, man. I get like my name called.
Yep.
Like almost like we're on this certain vibration that these things are able to relate to better, and communicate with us better. It's weird, man.
Yeah, I've had the same thing quite a bit. We were talking about I was talking about the Geoport earlier. The first time I ever had an interaction with one, I was at a private investigation at Lowe's House in Franklin, and one of the guys had one, and he had one of the nice ones that was expensive, like in the old timey radio built into it.
Yep.
And I thought it was a crock of shit, like whatever. And I see them on TV and whatever. And so I walked in the room where it was, and I said, "My name's Eric. What's your name?" And it said Eric, like loud and clear. And I said, "No, my name's Eric. What's your name?" Eric. And I said, "Well, I guess your name's Eric." And it said Eric the third time. How the fuck do you get that out of a spirit box that's scanning radio stations?
Right.
Yeah. And then also in that same Geoport, we asked a couple times in the night who the president was, and it said Lincoln every time we asked.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Franklin's big Civil War. Yeah, big Civil War.
Yeah.
But even at Thomas House, the last investigation we were doing at Thomas House, public ghost hunt we were doing it there, I had a different group than Lee had, and they were over on the little girls' hallway where I got poked in the butt cheek, and they kept getting my name. They got it. Excuse me. They got it on EVP when they did a roundtable EVP session and said my name, and then they're doing the SS method, and they come up with my name. And so Lee called me on the walkie-talkie to come over there. So I came over there, and we got even more EVPs. Not of my name after that.
Wild.
Whoever it was wanted to fucking talk to me.
Right.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time too. Yeah. And I'll hear my name when I'm the only one at home because I work from home, and everybody be going to work. I'll hear my name called sometimes. I've had that happen throughout my life.
I had a pretty good case. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I one last thing. I will go in and ask Roger. Sometimes he'll be in the living room and I'll be doing something else in the house. I'm like, "Were you talking to me? Did you say my name?" No, I'm just sitting here watching TV. He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah. I had a case of we did back in December. It was December. It was an orphanage, and it was an orphanage and a meeting house on the same property. Those old meeting houses from I think it was like 1700s, maybe 1600s. It was pretty old. And it was pretty cool. The orphanage was really fucking haunted, man. But the meeting house, we're in there. It was really quiet. Had a few things. I heard a few things, and they were EVPs that I heard them out loud. But I was messing with Carl all the time. She's saying he's always cold or something. I'm cold. I'm cold. I was like, it's supposed to get cold tonight. He goes, yeah, I know. I was like, you want me to give you your fucking Snuggie or something? I'm always fucking with him. And he goes,
Right.
yeah, that'd be nice. And I hear a voice, and I'm like, did you just say something? He's like, no, I just said that'd be nice. I couldn't make out what it said, but when I got home, I was listening to it. And when I said, you want your fucking Snuggie? He's like, yeah, that would be nice. And then when I heard that voice, it said, you're an asshole. It was called me an asshole. I was like, dude, this sounds an asshole. I was like, that was fucking cool. Carl goes, well, he wasn't lying.
It's crazy you bring up the name thing too, because I was telling Austin earlier before you got on, I was at Brushy Mountain Prison about a month ago, and I got this on video, in audio. We're walking down this hallway and we're turning to go into this room in D block where there's D block with segregation, it's a separate building, but there's a row of cells. And we're coming down this hallway that's just a hallway. There's no cells or anything. And we go, and Caleb is behind me, and we turn the corner, and I said, I just heard my name. And I asked Caleb, did you just say my name? He's like, no. And then when I went back and reviewed the footage, you can hear Caleb clear his throat, and then you hear a voice, but it doesn't sound like my name. I haven't enhanced it yet either to see, but you hear a voice, and then you hear me say, did you just say my name? And so I heard it at Brushy Mountain too.
Dude, I heard my name at Moundsville State Penitentiary. I was in, I used to be a correction officer, so I was kind of using terms that I would use in prison, right? So I was telling me, I'm a turnkey and like, lock this shit down. I'm saying shit like a correction officer would say. And me and Carl were on one side of the cell block, and dude, I hear a voice like, John. I'm like, hey, dude, did you just say that? He's like, no, but I heard it. I was like, what did you hear? He goes, that shit said your name, dude. I was like, I heard that shit. It was loud. It was like, John.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit. That Moundsville's a pretty cool place too, man. In West Virginia.
I'd like to go out there.
Yeah. Dude, we're gonna go there. We're making plans to go there, dude. If you guys want to come along, man. Trying to think when I think it's going to be in the fall, sometime in the fall when it's not real, because dude, prisons get hot as fuck in the summertime.
Yeah.
You do not want to be in a prison in the summertime. It is hot as shit.
Yeah.
So I told them, make it in the fall. It'll be cool. You're not dying, sweating your ass off in the cell blocks because it's stifling hot in there, man. They still got the old place where they hung them too.
Yep.
That's all still there, dude. That place.
Yeah, Moundsville's awesome.
The Candy Shack or the Sugar Shack.
The Sugar Shack.
Yeah. That was. We heard some cool shit in there too, man. Disembodied voices. Really cool place, man.
Yeah.
I'd love it.
One of my favorite things ever is we went to Moundsville. There was a couple other people there, and there was this one guy there. And he was like running through the place, but he had a backpack, right? And in his backpack was a car battery. I shit you not. And
holy shit.
Sticking out of his backpack were two of the painter's lights that had like two on each side. And he was just lighting up the entire
holy place. Shit.
It was the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life.
Like a fucking car being inside of there.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
My God, dude. It was fucking hysterical. But Moundsville is amazing. That's a really cool place.
It is. I've been there. Been to Penhurst, Waverly Hills. What else? We've been to Fort Mifflin a bunch of times, man. Fort Mifflin's awesome. Always awesome time. We were just there in November. But the orphanage never been investigated by anybody. We were the first team in there. And I'll tell you what, it didn't fucking disappoint, man. I was like, holy shit. I was on like the second floor, and I'm just walking around, and I'm always plugged in doing, they call it live EVP now. I used to just call it plugging in. I just plug into the tab. That's what I always call it, plugging in. So I'm plugged in. I'm listening, just walking around. And I get to this one part, and I thought I heard a woman's voice say like Amy or something, right? And I was like, I looked at Carl, I was like, hey, did you hear her voice? He's like, nah, I didn't hear shit. So I stopped in the doorway, and when I stopped, it said louder, like Amy. I was like, holy shit. I said, oh man, that fucking scared the shit out of me, right? Like, it was so loud. And I was like, did you hear it? He goes, oh yeah, dude, I heard it. I said, man. I said, it gave me the willies, you know, like, oh. I said, it gave me the willies, dude. Like, so we're having a lot of shit going on. We're hearing a lot of disembodied voices. So we were at one part and we heard what sounded like they had like nuns in there that would, were abusing the orphans and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe a couple of the orphans wound up being killed by these nuns and shit. So we're in one part and we're walking and it sounds like someone's like behind us walking, but with like, you know how a nun would wear those heeled shoes?
Yeah.
Dude, it was like, and we walk and you hear this choo, choo, choo behind us and I stop. I'm like, dude, did you hear the heels? He's like, yeah. So we get to one part and one of the guys seen something go from one hall to the other, one side of the hall to the other, one of my guys, and he's like, dude, something just crossed the hallway. So I said, let's go get some gear. We're going to set it up in this hallway. And there wasn't no power in there, so we're using everything off of like batteries and shit.
Yeah.
Like the portable batteries, just 12 volt, 5 volt batteries and shit. And we set up that Boo Bear because it's asking questions like EVP shit. And so we figured there's kids in here, maybe it's going to respond to it. So we set the Boo Bear up. Boo Bear dies. So the batteries die in it. So I have cameras set up at each end of the hallway facing Boo Bear. And, I'm coming up the backside, Carl, we get to Boo Bear, he picks it up. And when he picks it up, I hear a bang. It's like a loud bang. I'm like, what the shit? Like something fell over. And as soon as that happens, I hear a little kid go, peekaboo. And I was like, dude, was that the fucking bear? And he looks at me and goes, the bear doesn't say peekaboo. I was like, did you hear the little kid say peekaboo? He's like, yeah. I was like, holy shit. He looks at me. Carl's like the biggest skeptic ever, man. Like the fucking demon would have to jump out of the ceiling and just start tap dancing with his head to believe it's a ghost, And he's like, I said, dude, did you hear that? He goes, dude, this place is fucking crazy. But we had so much shit happen. I'm trying to get back there, man, but getting through the township is a difficult thing. They wanted us to come in for to do this Halloween event for them. And we presented all the evidence, which was really cool. We caught some amazing shit out of there. And to get back in there, it's been hard. I'm hoping we get back in there. But, dude, this place is off the charts, man. Like, no one's ever investigated it. So everything's raw, dude. Like, you're hearing fucking voices, like, responding intelligently to you, man. Like, you're asking questions. It's responding back intelligently. Like, I'm like, holy shit.
Well, they're like, there's finally somebody here that wants to talk to us. Like,
yeah, man.
So many years or whatever.
Yeah, like I was like, Amy, I heard you say your name earlier. Did you like talking to me? And right out in the hallway, you hear us say, yeah. I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. This place is. Yeah. It gave you the goosebumps that something is intelligently answering you. Yeah. You can't see it. You're just like, oh shit, dude, this is so cool, dude. Like it was a great night. It's one of those nights. It's like unforgettable.
Brushy Mountain. We're gonna go back to Brushy Mountain in April, and I've been going over all the evidence. I haven't done the audio recorders yet, but I've gone over most of the video stuff, and we caught a lot of sounds on the video.
Pretty violent prison, man.
Yeah, they never had a death row there though. A lot of people died there.
Oh yeah, it's a violent prison, man. A lot of
all kind of shit. Oh, but they sent all the people to die in Nashville at the castle prison. But we had something happen. We set up a stationary camera down on the first floor, and it's all concrete, and we're off a different part of the prison. You could hear us go off, like and you can't shut any of the cell doors because in the first 2 tiers they had the doors shut and locked. Because tourists were going in there during the day taking shits in the toilet. No joke.
What the shit?
I believe it.
And so the paranormal investigators,
I believe it.
But they don't let the general public into 3rd and 4th tiers. They don't let the general public 34 tiers, and they have cells open up there for us to go and investigate. But if you're an investigator, rent the place out, you get to go all these other places. But that static camera down on the first floor, we were in the completely separate. We were in B block. This camera set up in A block, and we didn't have enough fucking light to really light it up much. But you can hear footsteps all around the camera. You hear a cell door slamming. We never slammed a cell door. You know, there wasn't any doors. All the doors that we could go through were open. You know what I'm saying? They were propped open. And never had this happen before, but it sounds like somebody walks up to the camera and taps on it.
Oh,
like
wow.
you hear the plastic go dink.
Wow.
I've never seen if it was working or,
That's cool.
like you would tap on a microphone,
Right.
A little tink. But we all kind of, it was you know how some places, especially places you go to multiple times, one night it'll be like all visual stuff, and the next time it'll be with audio. That kind of seems like this is how Brushy is. It was all audio for us. All the stuff that we capture is audio so far. And so we're going to go back in April when it warms back up. Because like you were saying, they didn't have no heat, no air conditioning at Brushy ever. Not in the cell blocks. And so, being all sticky hot. And,
oh, man.
It's
brutal. It's brutal in prison in the summer, man. Yeah. Even the walls are sweating in there. It's so fucking hot, dude. It was miserable working in there when I worked in there. I'm like,
well, Brushy, they had
terrible.
Yeah, Brushy had people freeze to death.
Oh yeah,
had inmates freeze to death, and then also inmates die of heat exposure too.
I remember working in the prison, and they would act up, man. We would fucking squirt the tears down, and it would be so cold in there, man. The fucking tears would just freeze. It'd be like fucking icicles hanging off of the fire. It was like definitely like violation of their 8th Amendment, like cruel and unusual punishment. But they are criminals. But it's just like, dude, some of the shit that they would do is like totally outrageous, man. It's like, fuck, how they get away with this shit, Ain't no wonder they're haunted. These places are haunted, man. Like, I worked in the old jail, and that building was built in 1860 something. That prison was. It looked like a castle, man. Sort of like, Shawshank Redemption, that it kind of, the Maryland Penitentiary looked like that. And that place was fucking haunted, man. Like, you get out of tier, certain tiers would be empty, and you would hear shit moving around in the cells. And like, there was someone in there. You go up there, there's no one in there, dude. Like, you'd hear talking, like 2 inmates talking, and the whole tier would just be empty. There would be no one there. But you would hear inmates talking and shit. It was weird, man. It was creepy. Never got touched in there, but seeing weird shit, shadows and shit like that, and seeing my share of people being killed in there for sure. Like hangings, people would hang themselves or get stabbed up and shit like that. People I know died in there, So it was just, it's weird shit, man. Like, the whole paranormal thing is just like I was telling Austin earlier, I was like, it's not really paranormal. It's a part of this world, man. Like, it's an everyday occurrence, man. Like, this phenomenon happens every day.
Well, I know, to me and Austin, because me and Austin talk every day, just about every day, and we're always talking about shit that's happening every day in our lives, especially paranormal lives. Yeah. And for both of us, it's the fucking norm.
Yeah,
every day something happens. Something weird.
People talk to me, man, you still into that ghost shit? I'm like, yeah, this is a part of my life, dude. Like, it's always gonna be a part of my life, man. Like, till the day I die or the day I become a ghost, I'm always gonna be doing this shit. I think it's fascinating as hell, man.
Yeah.
Whether we ever come up with an answer to it, I doubt it highly.
Right.
I think we'll figure it out when we die.
Yeah. Well, you watch the episode of Dead Files, you figure it all out in one episode. You know what I mean?
Right.
Good point.
Yeah, they figure it all out every episode. Oh yeah. His name's Bob, and he walks over here. Like, they act like the whole thing's a mystery. They know the whole fucking case file before it even starts.
Yeah.
Before they even start filming, they know everything. Like, and people believe this shit like they're really psychics and they're really this. Like, come on, man. I was on TV a bunch of different times, and it's all crock of shit, to be honest.
No, yeah.
It really is. It's entertainment to the fullest, man.
I was part of a TV show. I filmed an episode this past year. It'll probably be out sometime next year. The episode will, but they're the real deal. And it's Brandon Alvis and Mustafa Galori. They were on A&E's version of Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
And they're doing a show called Haunted Discoveries.
Was that the one with Grant?
Yeah.
When Grant had that one episode? Yeah.
And their show, the first season's actually just finished airing on T&E in Canada. And they've got somebody that's picked up in the United States, so it'll be on after first year. But they're going about it the right way. Of scientifically, they actually have Dr. Harry Kloor, who is the only person ever to get 2 PhDs simultaneously. I mean, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. He's a rocket scientist and shit, But they're going about it from a scientific standpoint. They're the ones that made the EMCCD camera famous.
Okay,
the one that does the photon events.
Yeah.
And they use it on Haunted Discoveries because Dr. Harry Kloor, he uses it for his study of the stars and shit because they can see light that you can't see with the visible eye.
Yeah.
And so he helped them adapt it to investigating. But no, I know Brandon Mustafa pretty well by now. We've become pretty good friends, and they're the real deal. They don't like the bullshit either. And that's part of the reason why they want to do their own show, because of that, And if you watch that season of Ghost Hunters, it's probably some of the most believable paranormal investigating on TV that you'll watch, just because I don't think they faked anything, and shit like that. It wasn't anything absolutely insane that they caught, chairs stacking themselves like, oh my gosh, TV, happens in 3 of his YouTube videos.
I've never seen anything like that, man. Like in all the fucking years of doing this, I've never seen shit stacking. And the most thing I think I've ever really witnessed was shoes that got stacked. You know what I mean? Like 1 minute it wasn't there, the next minute it was there. Yeah, we just couldn't figure out like how the fuck did that happen? Like, I walked by and it was there, it wasn't there, and then 2 minutes turned back and it's there. I'm just like, was that fucking there? Like my brain was just not able to comprehend how that happened in that brief. I'm like, was it there or wasn't? I know I walked by and it wasn't there, but then when I turned back around, it was like 4 shoes like stacked up like on top of each other, and I'm like, so I said something to the homeowner. I was like, do you guys ever experience like shit being stacked? And she goes, yeah, his shoes get stacked a lot. I'm like, fucking shitting me. Like, there it is.
That's awesome to have that validation though when you never heard that from the people.
Yeah, I thought it was, dude. I swear, I thought my mind was like, I'm like, were these fucking shoes stacked or weren't they? You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. And then I'm like, I know I walked by them and they weren't stacked, and then 2 minutes later they were stacked, and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe my mind's just fucking with me. It's in the dark. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I didn't even pay mind to it until I talked to her, and then she said it. She validated it. I'm like, holy shit, they did stack. I was like, too bad I didn't get it on film, but that's how it works. That's always how it works, right?
Yeah. It is.
Fuck, dude.
All right, well, me and Austin have been going on here for 3.5 hours, so.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me on, man. We got to do it again, man, because I'm telling you, dude, I love this shit, man.
Well, I want to start this paranormal roundtable like once a month.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, definitely.
And whoever wants to come in, no more than maybe 4 people, because it gets a little too crazy after that.
Oh, yeah.
We just have different people come in and just bullshit about paranormal and our experiences and what we got going on. But I figure about once a month would be cool,
Yeah, man, we all 3 got to get together and do some investigating, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, definitely in 2024 for sure. Yeah, I want to come. I'm not coming back to the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash because I thought that was crock shit, but I will come back to Gettysburg and I will come visit you again.
Yeah, definitely, bro. You're always welcome, man.
But always. Yeah, thanks for coming on with me tonight and hanging out. And,
yeah, man.
Have you seen my unedited raw video footage from Brushy Mountain?
I haven't.
I'll play it one more time before we go, just because it's only us in here right now. So, warning: some viewers may find this video disturbing. This video depicts a real-life paranormal investigation inside a prison. No sound effects were used. All audio and video footage is raw and unedited. This footage may cause disgust, gagging, uncontrollable laughter, giggles, anal leakage, bladder spasms, giggle shits, snorting, and you may even pee a little. No disrespect was intended during this incident.
done. Damn it, I fucking said year, right?
Getting it done, so you know that's probably old.
Yeah.
They don't say get her done. Union County 09. Buckwild Washburn boys.
I'm sorry, y'all. That stinks.
Yeah, he just shit on y'all. That's very disrespectful in prison.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
They call him Little Shitty, and I'm Big Shitty. Big and Little Shitty in the house.
That was great, dude.
Yeah, we ate fucking Cracker Barrel before we went to brush you, and we were all gassy. And the thing you don't hear on there that I couldn't fit in 1 minute is about a few seconds, about 10 to 20 seconds later, Caleb, who's in front of me, was like, "I guess they call me Little Toot," because we were all just shitting our pants all night.
That was great, dude.
Yeah, but I was telling Austin, if you listen in there, I think I caught an EVP of like a like after me talk, you hear my cousin, and then like Caleb clears his throat, and he's walked out of the cell down the hallway. But in between there, you'll hear it sounds like somebody's going, "Huh," you know, like I think it's a fucking EVP.
That's great, dude.
But I had to make it because I'm like, the paranormal community is always too fucking serious.
Yeah.
And like, this is real paranormal investigating. We fart, we burp, we fucking, our stomachs crumble, and like, you know, it's real life. And so, yeah, so I thought it was funny. All right. Well, thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
and also,
you
y'all need to check out each other's books. So, John, you need to check out Taylor Made Horror, and also you need to read Unholy Structure.
Definitely, man.
Absolutely.
But y'all have a good night. We'll do this again soon.
All right, brother.
Sounds good.
See you
Nice
later.
to meet you, Austin, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, man.
Good night.
Night, guys.
Night.